Let me get my shit together as usual. Let me get my shit together. Brother Don Yehuda, shalom, brother, shalom.
Hey, shalom, happy Sabbath, bro. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. You know my motto, man. Every day above the ground is a good damn day. A good
Definitely.
day. I'm still trying to get my shit together here. Yeah, where my shit at? Either way it go, my shit together. All right.
Yeah, take your time, brother.
All right. This is a hands-on deck, open platform today. Any of the brothers and sisters want to join on these conversations, please do so. The link will be in the chat constantly. I'd like for the OSP brothers and sisters, y'all want to tune in and come on here and give your thoughts on these topics according to the OSP, feel free to do so. We're going to give our thoughts and opinions and scriptures on these according to the Bible as well. So, once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. This is part 6 of controversial and deep conversations with Hebrew Israelites of different teachings, doctrines, and backgrounds. And some of the topics of the day's show will be, let me put you on mute for a second. The topics of the day will be, can Israelite women make an Israelite child with a Gentile man? And I came up with that question because the good brother Shar Sham brought that to the attention on part 5. Can we use marijuana for any purposes? Can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to strip clubs? That's a hot topic in Israel. Should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations and household than men? What is a MAMZER? Part 2. That's always a hot topic. Can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time? And I already see Sister Weasel. She's out there. She's out there right now. This should be a good one. So I know we're going to have the sister Nefertali in here. I'm trying to get Sharsham and King Julian because this Israelite woman making an Israelite child from a Gentile man, this is a very touchy situation. But I want to start off with something simple, man, until we could get everybody up in here, man. Let me see which one of these topics, man. Can we buy, I tell you what, can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time? And usually I start off with myself, but I want to start off with you, Brother Don Yehuda. Can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time? You know, last part 5, we had a hot topic. Everybody was pretty much divided. We had about 6, 7 people on here. And the topic was, can we cook on the Sabbath without using a fire, without setting a fire? And you had half the panel say yeah. You had half the panel say no. So can we buy and sell on the Sabbath day in these days of time? Brother Don Yehuda, what do you have to say about that, brother?
I mean, if we going by scripture, I mean, I'm going to always stand 10 toes down on the scripture, and whatever it outlines is, you know, what we should be taking heed to and doing. I know there are some exceptions. There are some exceptions to the rules, but overall, I would say that we are not allowed to buy and sell on the Sabbath day. The Most High, through his prophets, give us a very detailed outline of what we can and can't do. And if I may start out with Romans, because a lot of things that we read, you know, we read the history and we look at things to get a lesson to learn from, to gauge into the past to see what our forefathers and foremothers did, the right and the wrong, so that way we can build on the rights and discard the wrong things, so that way we can miss the potholes of life. So Romans 15:4 says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." So these things is to give us hope in our beliefs, to give us patience when we go up against things that's against our beliefs or trying us in our day-to-day life. We're supposed to, rebound back upon the scriptures and look at these things and utilize them to our benefit to, resuscitate the spirit, so to say, because a lot of times, you know, we have to be in the world 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 a year. So a lot of times we have to do these things. But in Nehemiah chapter 13, it states in verse 15, "In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and laden asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manners of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day." So we see that right here labor was taking place on the Sabbath day. We already know that's one of the tenets that you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to bear any burden on the Sabbath day. But it's going to expound further on what else that was going on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. So now we getting into the selling aspect. Can you buy or sell? So as you see, they were selling victuals on the Sabbath. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. So now you got even foreigners, like we see now. We have a lot of foreign immigration within our communities. They have set up economic bases within our communities, whether it be stores, gas stations, beautification, things of that nature. And they sell to us on the Sabbath day. They sell to us every day, is probably except for in some cases on Sunday. But the gas station stores, they're open 7 days a week. So they're selling to us on the Sabbath day. It's up to us to know that we're not supposed to be buying or selling on these days. And so 17 says, "Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, What evil thing is that ye do and profane the Sabbath?" So he's telling you it's an evil thing to buy and sell on the Sabbath. It's an evil thing to, do your labors on the Sabbath, because there was an outline of what we should and shouldn't do on the Sabbath day. And it says, "And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened after the Sabbath. And some of my virgins set I at the gates, that there should be no burden be brought in on the Sabbath. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them and said unto them, Why lodge ye about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From the time forth came they no more on the Sabbath." So he told them, listen, if you jokers keep coming around here tempting my people to, to partake in commerce, to partake in any type of labor, I'm gonna lay hands on you. That's a Negro term right there. Niggas say lay hands on you like it's a second language. So,
God,
you know,
God, God.
we're gonna lay hands on you and put feet all on you too if need be. So with that being stated, that was a thing that was very evil and grievous in the sight of the prophet Nehemiah that they were doing. So I would stand on 10 toes and say it's not. And but there are exceptions. Like I said, there are exceptions to that rule. When you read in the New Testament, when Christ was speaking about the Sabbath, let me pull that up. As I pull it up, he was speaking about the Sabbath and telling you that the Sabbath was made for man and man not for Sabbath, because there's certain instances that happens in day-to-day life to where you just really can't avoid certain things. So that doesn't mean that you do these things purposely because you didn't prepare. You know what I'm saying? But certain things, like somebody might be poor and hungry, haven't eaten. Are you not going to buy them some food if they need some food? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, speaking on that, let me go to James real quick, since I touched on that. Because some things you got to do on the Sabbath, it just really, there's no way around it, because you're supposed to love your brother as thyself. And if you're not doing these things, then you're being a tyrant, you're being evil to your brother. So in James chapter 2, verse 14, it said, what doeth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked or destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace. So this is like, listen, bro, it's the Sabbath. I can't do nothing for you, but hearken unto the laws of the Most High, brother. It's gonna be all right. This what you're saying. How do you sound to somebody like that, man? You sound like a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you speaking exactly right to them, the first thing that's on their mind is the rumblings in their stomach, the pains they got because they haven't eaten in a while. And it says, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled. Notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are needful to the body. What doeth it profit? Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. So, there's exceptions to the rules. There's always exceptions to the rules. That's why Christ said that thing. The Sabbath is for us because in certain instances, you're going to be posed with certain life situations to where it's going to seemingly be contradicting to what is required of us, but it's still facilitating the overall humanity that we're supposed to show to our brothers that we see, within Leviticus chapter 19. You know what I'm saying? Loving your brother as yourself. So that's my stance on the brother. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think we're supposed to, unless there is a extingent reason why we would have to do those things.
Con, man. You basically hit the scriptures that I was going to hit, man. But let me give them a few scriptures that they can take with this. Acts 18:4, Acts 17:2, Luke chapter 4 and 16, Isaiah chapter 58:13, Exodus chapter 31, verse 16 through 17, Numbers 15:33. And Nehemiah, like you read, Nehemiah 13 chapter, verse 15 through 21. Nehemiah chapter 10, verse 31. But let me hit you with a stumper. What about the congregations like ISUPK? ISUPK that's, they believe in buying on the Sabbath. I've seen them, you'll see them walk right past a camp on the Sabbath. They'll walk right in the store and buy a hero sandwich. What do you say to to all the brothers and sisters that say, hey, we're in captivity. We can't keep the Sabbath in captivity. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we can buy and sell, because we're in captivity in a foreign land that's not ours. What do you have to say about that, Brother Don Yehuda? Because that is a good question to raise up. What about us being in captivity? Do we still, what do the scriptures, or what have you read in the scriptures that says about the Sabbath and also just other high holy days? Because you have a lot of congregations that say, man, look at, man, we can't do that while we're in captivity in a foreign land. We can't keep the Sabbath. We can't keep the Passover and other high holy days. What do you have to say about that? Because, like I say, I don't like to throw no names out there, but ISUPK and amongst other people, they buy and probably sell on the Sabbath too. I know they buy on the Sabbath. I've seen that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Peace and brothers. Peace, Brother Eli Yuha.
Well, I would say me personally, I can't speak for another man's congregation and their teachings because I'm not too familiar. I know that all One West doctrine is fairly similar, at its core with some tweaks here and there. But yeah, I've seen the brothers in some videos they was purchasing on the Sabbath. Like I said, I don't know exactly what their understanding of the doctrine is. Me personally, I think that the Bible specifically tells you that, you're not supposed to do these things unless there's certain situations that call for you to do otherwise. So when you go to Exodus chapter 16 and verse 23, and it said, and he said unto them, this is that which the Most High have said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High. Bake that which you will bake today, and see that you will seethe. and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So right here, even though it's not talking about the purchasing aspect, it's talking about the cooking. We could still correlate that with the purchasing because you have 6 days in order to purchase your goods and products. So you know that the Sabbath is coming up. So you have Sunday through Friday until evening to purchase your goods, your products that you need in order to hold you over for that dispensation of time of the Sabbath. So anybody that's purchasing on the Sabbath, me personally, I think they're just willfully doing these things. You know what I'm saying? And they're using the excuse of being in captivity as a byproduct of wanting to just satisfy the flesh versus taking heed to what the scriptures are saying. Because if you're talking about buying drinks, food, clothing, anything, what prevented you from Sunday through Friday afternoon of doing these things? Even if you say you work, you're not working 24 hours out the day. Even if you're saying you're solo, you have friends and families and associates that can, you know, get these things for you if need be. I mean, they have delivery services now. Even with clothes. I mean, you can even order clothes offline and get it delivered, whole wardrobes and everything. So, I mean, there's really no reason that you should be, you know, buying, selling on the Sabbath, making any purchases and using the excuse of being in captivity. There's other pertinent things I would say that would be more questionable as far as the days of the week due to the Gregorian calendar, things of that, as far as just getting a better understanding of when the Sabbath may be. But as far as just doing the tenets of what comes with the Sabbath, I think it's kind of clear, cut, and dry that you should do these things before the Sabbath actually takes place.
Okay, brother Daniel Hooter. Okay, brother Daniel Hooter. Bringing that fire. I see it. But yeah, man, you know, my whole opinion on it, man, is I'm kind of conflicted. I'm not gonna lie. I think we should keep the
Okay.
Sabbath. Just like I did in part 5, let me go in and bring out my opinion. I did in part 5 when we talked about can we cook on the Sabbath without making a fire. And you see, you had half the people, you know, said yes, and half the people said no. And it was all love. It wasn't you know, people be afraid of these kind of conversations on Yehuda, man. I tell you, I get it.
Right.
You know, me and Hebrew Israelites, we kind of get back and forth in a little stick and spell. Oh, shalom, brother, shalom, man. I would love to hear the opinions of the OISP on these titles, man. You can come on, brother, you want to. But yeah, you know, I'm always getting into it, not getting into it, but we have a little back and forth with the Hebrew Israelites, man, and because they feel they so comfortable in their doctrine and teaching, and they're so, I'm just gonna put it out there, man. They're afraid to combat with other Hebrew Israelites, you know, and we kind of see that, you know what I'm saying, sometime when we bring on the OWASP Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, I'm sounding the Holy Scriptures, so you know,
Right.
nothing can really offend me. All I can do is compare notes with brothers and sisters, and you know, and just grow in knowledge. And so, you know, that the whole thing about buying and, well, not buying and selling, but cooking on the Sabbath, as long as you use a fire. And you know, you see some brothers say, "Hey, man, you know, so we got to use common sense, man. We had to set a fire, you know, so to stay warm. We had to do this right here." And I was like, you know, I don't believe we could set a fire to cook on the Sabbath, but I do believe we can use, you know, slow cookers, microwaves, you know, George Foreman grills, fried daddies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what else? Air fried daddies, or what do you call it? Air fry, whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying? I believe we can use those
Yeah, the
things.
air fryer. Right.
Yeah, air fry. So on the point of, can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time, in this captivity, in these lands? I'm kind of conflicted because I think we should rehearse the righteous acts. You know, we learned that scripture back and forth. Rehearse the righteous acts. Rehearse the righteous acts. And I do believe we should rehearse the righteous acts as much our ability, but also use common sense and hit them scriptures. So, can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time? I would say do Right? Understand how the scripture go is righteous to do good on the Sabbath day.
Right.
So
And
if
I
you
actually got that for you when you're done.
okay, and if you have to like what that scripture means to me, if you're a doctor and someone brings their child to you, their child has broke their arm or did something on the Sabbath day, or the child has gone ill, very ill on the Sabbath day, you as a doctor should be able to do your doctor duties for this child or this adult. Because it's righteous to do good on the Sabbath. So you telling us, what I'm saying, the person, no man, can't I can't heal you, or I can't, subscribe something to you, or I can't perform my doctor duties on you because it's the Sabbath day, will be totally wrong. So it
Right.
is some, like you say, it is some gray areas in this thing, but you have to just use discernment, man, and use common sense. So I don't believe in just breaking the Sabbath just because you say that, oh man, we're in captivity, we're in another land. But I do believe in using common sense and doing good on the Sabbath, if that makes any sense. But you can get that scripture, brother, before we move on to
Yeah,
the next topic.
definitely. Because you definitely kind of segue into that. And I was looking for the scripture earlier and kind of got sidetracked. But yeah, like I said, and like you just expounded upon, depending on certain reasons, you have to do certain things on the Sabbath. As long as you're not planning to do it just to be doing it because of lack of preparation and things of that nature, then that's a different story. But in Matthew chapter 12, starting at verse 9, and it says, and when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. This is talking about Yeshua. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? So they're asking him something as crazy as, is it lawful to heal? But I bet you if they black behind was sick, they would have definitely took that healing right then and there with no question.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it says that they might accuse him. And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbaths. So he's letting them know right there, like, if you're doing well for somebody on the Sabbath, even for yourself, like he just said, if your sheep, because we know back then sheep, cattle, things was your commerce, that was your economy. And if that fell into a hole or a rut and couldn't get out, it can stress itself out and die. Now you losing your ability to possibly eat for the day. You losing your money maker. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that come with that can ripple effect and affect your livelihood and your household. Because we already know the scriptures say that you got to take care of your household or you're going to be less than or worse than an infidel. So he's telling you if you're doing well and you're not purposely doing these things, then do those things because it's going to still be the praise and the upliftment of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not just going out of your way just to be doing some out of pocket stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say on that. I would stay doing what the scriptures say, but if a situation come up and you need to do good for another brother or yourself that where it was unavoidable, then by all means do those things.
And I would say, I know it's a situation in I can't think of what scripture it is. I think this is a drop down. Remember when Christ had to go through the remember they said, oh man, Yahweh broke the Sabbath, man. He got some corn out the field, but the scripture says it's lawful for you to go through your neighbor's if you go through your neighbor's cornfield or whatever, you could eat something right there. Don't even put a fire to it. You can eat, don't carry it away, because when you carry it away, that'll be stealing. You know what I'm saying? Sit there and eat. I can't think of what scripture that is, but
Oh yeah, I got it for you right now.
Okay, go ahead and break it out, brother.
Okay, this is the book of Mark chapter 2, starting at verse 23. And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day, and his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of corn. And the Pharisee said unto him, behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful? And he said unto them, have you never read what David did when he had need and was a hungered? He and they went there, he and they that were with him, how he went into the house of the Most High in the days of Abithathar, the high priest, and did eat the showbread, which is not lawful to eat but for the priest, and gave also to them which were with him. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is the Lord also of the Sabbath. So yeah, that
Con,
goes right into what you were saying. You know, listen, they plucking the ears of corn, brother. They ain't doing nothing. They not being laborers. You know what I'm
right.
saying? That's just walking like picking the apple off the tree. There's no
You're
labor in
right.
that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They
Right.
didn't cook it or anything. They ate that thing raw
Right.
off the stalk.
That's what I said. They didn't roast the corn. The corn wasn't roasted and shit.
Right.
Roasted with butter. Shalom, shalom, Queen Nefertali. The first topic right now, sister, is can we buy? No, yeah, can we buy and sell on the Sabbath day in these days of time? Since we in captivity, we're in a foreign land. You see, certain Israelites they buy and sell. Can we buy and sell on the Sabbath, Queen Nefertali? Shalom, sister.
Shalom, sis. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, guys, and thank you all so much for having me on today.
The
Shalom
pleasure.
to everybody in the chat. I hope you guys can hear me. Everything sounds good.
Yeah, sound clear.
Yes,
Okay,
I hear
good.
you good.
I was working on my computer and stuff. Yeah, so that is a good topic. It is very controversial because we are in captivity, so things are a bit hard for us. A lot of us work 5 days a week, so everything we only got 2 days pretty much to take care of our business. And some of us actually work on the Sabbath. I see my sis Wheezy. She's at the plantation, so I wouldn't tell her to quit her job and find another one because she is working on the Sabbath. I wouldn't tell her that. But could she quit her job and find another one? Yeah, probably. But that's when we get into this gray area, it's a lot that we can do, but it's hard. So I do empathize and sympathize with those who, are, having a hard time keeping the Sabbath. A lot of people don't have the privilege to be off like I do. I'm off on Saturdays. So I get that. So I also lean into this, like, in second address, should we travel to a land where we can keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments a little bit easier. And there are places that you can, like for instance, in France, they don't work on the weekends at all. Okay, and there's places like in Africa where you can choose your own schedule, and you can be your own boss. So should we hold people accountable to go to another land where we can keep the law, statutes, and commandments? And so would that be their choice? Should they be should there be consequences if we don't try to find somewhere where we can? Because there are places, so I'm interested in hearing you all's opinion to that question that I have.
Now pose that question one more time, sister. I'm sorry, I was trying to mess with the chat. And
I got an answer to respond to
okay,
that, and I'll say I totally agree with you, sis. That's the basis.
No, go ahead though.
No, I was saying I agree. No, go ahead, sis. Salakia, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure I restated for him. So what I was asking was, like in second address, they had left to go to a land where never mankind had dwelt, or to a land where they could keep better the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. So I asked, should we, since we know who we are, and there are places other than the United States where we can keep the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. We have passports. We are able to travel. Not everybody, not every country makes people work on the weekends. Like for instance, in France, they don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. And like I said, in Africa, you have the opportunity to pretty much do whatever you want to do. You can be your own boss. So I was saying that should we, leave and go somewhere else where it'd be easier for us we won't have these problems? And should it be a consequence if we don't decide to do that?
Very good question.
Or
Go
is
ahead, brother.
it a choice? And if is it a choice in itself, in that matter anyway? Is it a choice? Do we have a choice? That's what I was pretty much asking.
I'm gonna let
Yeah,
brother Daniel go first.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the point that she made, that's like very profound to the question, because earlier you were just speaking about as far as just buying and selling, but when we talk about captivity, that's where that situation plays a much more significant effect on our people versus the buying and selling. You know, the working and being employed and being able to sustain yourself and your family, because we at the mercy of the society and nations that we're under. So whatever the laws of the land are, for the most part, is what we have to abide by. So I totally agree with her. I don't think that a brother and sister should be held accountable for having to work on the Sabbath. I would say if they are able to try to find a new schedule within that job. I mean, I also do know that you can't just leave a computer programming job to go work at Mickey D's either. You know what I'm saying? That just isn't going to make no sense either, because you're going to take a pay decrease and those things might affect you significantly in your household. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, being in captivity in this nation does prevent you from being able to observe all of the tenets of what you're supposed to do on the Sabbath day. And a lot of times we don't have the control to be able to dictate having a Friday night off or a Saturday off due to our employer and the circumstances. So I totally agree with that, sister. And I totally agree that, if it's within your power, I would say at least try it. But if it means that it's going to put you in a worse situation, or if you can't get out of it, then, I would just say pray to the Most High, fast on it, and if it's meant to be, some doors will open up. But I agree with the sister on that. Captivity can affect those aspects of the Sabbath.
Con, and I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in. Yeah. To her question, should we? Because she said, second Ezra 13, verse 40 through 45. Supposedly, that they came to America or they went to a land. I don't think they're talking about America, but they did go to a land that no man has been to keep the laws and commandments. Okay, so now we're in good old America, Babylon the Great. I think all of us could agree upon that this place is Babylon the Great, mystery Babylon the Great. So since we're here and we know this is the habitats of devils, it's hard for us to keep the Sabbath because, like she said, some countries, they don't let them work on Saturdays. Some countries, they don't work on Saturday. So they know they want us, they make us break the laws on purpose, because they can easily shut down on Saturday, but they won't, because they know that keeps us in sin, and so they figure like that buys them more time. So to answer her question, should we flee Babylon and go somewhere else? I think we should. I think FOPE been beating it down, start showing them and beating it down all week long about fleeing and preparing for what's to come. Hell, why prepare when you can leave and get the fuck up out of here? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I got time to be preparing and trying to.
I agree with you.
Right. I don't have time. Hey, listen, Queen, listen. I don't got time to sit here and be. Did you see them damn videos that we showed of them damn little white goddamn motherfuckers shooting and hitting targets at 8 years old, little white girls popping out and shooting targets? Hey, listen, we're not prepared like that. So we might well just flee and get the hell up out of here. That's the best bet. Okay? We're not prepared to go to war and fight these motherfuckers. They're sharpshooters. They're teaching their kids to sharpshoot. At 5 and 6 years old, they're going through obstacle courses. We're not teaching our kids that. We're teaching our kids to damn, how to play sports and how to okay, there we go, everybody. And how to play sports and how to, to sell dope and how to be a stick-up kid. We're not teaching we're not teaching our youth how to combat. We could prep, and the brother Shashem is right about prepping, but I'm gonna tell you, prepping ain't gonna really do too much. We got to get the fuck up out of here. That's the prepping that we need. So yes, to answer the sister Queen Nefertali question, yes, we should go somewhere that we can keep the laws commandments. Because we have, and brothers was on the show that Sham did the other night. It was like, well, where can we go? Where can we go? Nigga, y'all came too comfortable here. We could go plenty of places. We can get the fuck up out of here. There's plenty of places to go. You know, it's plenty of places that's not on the radar of America and Russia and Ukraine and all them places, China. There's plenty of places, Central America, South America, the Caribbean islands. They're not at war with anybody. You can go to them places and keep the laws and commandments. So yes, sister, Queen Nefertali, you're right. Yes, we should just get the hell up out of here.
And I just wanted to let me back on what you were saying. I just want to make sure everybody knows, stay for the record, that no, this, I don't believe this is the America's Arsath. So I agree with you on that. So I just want to make sure that I set the record straight with that. And yeah, so but you're right. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. It's like, you know, like my sister Sweezy, she's at work right now, and it's hard. It's already hard. Everything is hard, and it's like, you know, you just happy that you have a job. You're just happy that you have an income to be able to go to the store. And then when you do have time to go to the store, they telling you, oh, well, you can't go to the store. You got to take this whole day off. But remember, we're working. Some of us are working 5, 6, 7 days a week. 8 to 12 hours. And, you know, when we do have time to just get the smallest of tasks done, it's like, am I going to be reprimanded, or am I going to be in sin because I'm taking this time that I have to be able to just go to the store and buy something? So that's why I posed the question, like, you know, hey, maybe we should leave and go to another place where they don't work on the weekends. That's not, you don't have to just go to Africa. In Europe, a lot of those countries do not have 7-day week. They have it's against the law to actually work on the weekend. They actually care about their people and give their people time to rest. So, you know, it's just something that we all can think about. Shalom, Sharkam.
Shalom, Shalom, and shalom, brothers.
God bless everybody.
Most I bless you,
family,
brother.
shalom.
Shalom.
Now I'm gonna ask you, Sharsham, and then I'm gonna get to brothers the dark before we close this first topic out. Can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time? Over here, Mr. Babylon the Great, we're in captivity, we're in a foreign land. Can we buy and sell on the Sabbath? Because we see ISUBK do, we see other congregations do, but is it right that we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time, in this captivity, in this land, Brother Shasham?
Well, I'm not going to be biased nor a hypocrite, but you know, I'm gonna go off of what biblical law state, and we not supposed to do any of things like that. But what the Most High told me spiritually is, we in captivity, and all captivities are different. They're not the same. You know what I mean? Some was lapse, some was a little easier for us, some was more harder. Like I'm on a plantation right now, and it's because what's going on, I have to make extra coin just to survive. The Most High know that. So I appreciate the grace of the Father. You know what I mean? And he understand, he know what's going on with us and what's going on with our people. And he know that us who returning and coming back to the laws, we want to serve him. But we cannot serve him 100% perfectly here. It's impossible. So even if we are, and we're doing it to survive, to stay alive, I don't see what the problem with it is. If you got to work to survive, especially now, I'd say make as much extra money as you can, because some people can't leave. Get enough money so you can fortify, store up your food, or if you can make enough money to get the hell out of here, then do it. I don't feel like the Most High going to judge us in a bad way because we worked on the Shabbat. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sorry. Like look where we at. We in a critical situation. I know some people will say, well, what about your faith? Like, listen, man. That's the same way when Yahushua went to the field on Shabbat and got some corn to eat. We all got faith, bro, but we still got to do some type of works. And even if we try to go 100% accurately to the Torah and the law and try to do everything in that way, 9 out of 10, we're not going to make it out here because we ain't going to get enough money in time to do everything we need to do, or it's going to be a longer, drawn out process. Things come up. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, if you doing it for a good cause and a good reason, I say, hey, do what you got to do to make it up out of here. But not like how these guys doing things just on here to finance their business and to make money off of people. Then it's not genuine. Then I would look at it as it's just a thing where they just doing stuff for filthy lucre. So other than that, you know, everybody don't it's not fortunate not to work on the Sabbath. You know, everybody ain't fortunate to not cook on the Sabbath. Everybody's situation is different. You know, and the scriptures talk about, you know, taking a beam out your own eye. So I'm not going to condemn nobody for that because, you know, of my own situation. But, you know, I'm telling everybody, you know, things is getting worse. Do what you got to do in these days and times to make it. You know, I don't care about the judgment zones of other people anymore, because at the end of the day, my walk in this community, a lot of these people ain't your friends, man. They're hypocrites, and they not genuine. They only genuine when you agree on a doctrine that they would, but they're not genuine when you're really going through something and you trying to make it up out of here. And your survival is online, and your children's survival is online. So I look at a lot of people in the community different, and look at a lot of these fake leaders and so-called leaders in this community different, man. And I guide.
Oh damn, the brother cut off. Coming back on, Shashan, but yeah, I'm totally agree with Shashan when he just said a point he just said right then. A lot of these brothers ain't real unless you agreeing upon the doctrine that they teach. You know, a lot of brothers, they, you know what I'm saying, a lot of brothers, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna pass it back to brother Shashan here in 1 second, but he said a very valid point. A lot of you brothers and sisters, especially all you brothers that think you know every damn thing. Let me put my camera on when I say this right here. A lot of you brothers, man, y'all only want to congregate. You only want to talk and deal with your brothers and sisters when you got a doctrine that you want to push. And you want everybody to believe your doctrine. And when people tell you to come on platforms like this right here to talk about it, the first thing y'all yell about is that y'all don't want to debate. It's a debate. No, it's not a damn debate. It's about sharpening swords, but you're so afraid of your doctrine being challenged. Go ahead, brother Shashan, before I get in the goddamn sticker spell here. Brother Shashan, you there?
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, my mic was mute. Can you hear me?
Come on, I can hear you. Go ahead,
all right, right. I was saying, right. I agree with everything you just said, right? And the thing is too, right, in the community with these brothers, man, how much of a hypocrites they are. Like, they don't show love to their other brethrens, the ones who's on smaller platforms and trying to build themselves up. Brothers act like they can't even come support their other brothers who got smaller platforms because they got a bigger platform. Like, Israel is all about, a lot of these guys all about show numbers and how much they could be seen. Like, you feel me? Like how we over here with 5 viewers, and it ain't a thing for me. I'm at work and I'm over here talking to the people with 5 viewers because I'm supporting no matter what my family, my brothers. Because to me, it's not about numbers and how many people watching. It's about, let's get the positive message out so we can warn the people. And my thing is, people don't change their attitude, man. People looking for fame and fortune in this thing. I'm not here for that. I'm here to help build a nation and get out of captivity and get my people out of here so we can go home. That's why I came into this whole walk the way I did and trying to help build the way I was, until I realized that that's what it was not about. And I was so disappointed in a lot of things in Israel, especially when I learned about the false 12 tribe breakdown. Like, y'all lied and just been lying and shit on purposely and had me teaching this shit all these years, you know what I'm saying? And now I got to deal with the judgment of that, you know, that's a lot. And it angers a person. So I'm about building, man, and building my nation and not destroying it. And I'm not going to push lies, you know? And I had a lot of people got upset at me because I went on Sinetta and I told Sinetta, I hope Garfield, you know, win that debate they having today with Sakari on the 12 tribe chart. Because, you know, I'm a different type of Israelite. I'm for truth, no matter what the knowledge is, whether it's in the Bible, whether it's in the Quran or whatever. I'm not biased, man. And I'm not going to support a lie because it's a lie. If it ain't, if it's false, it's false. You know, whether you're an Israelite or not. So I stand with the Bible. And the Bible says, let every man be a liar and let the Most High Yah be true. So if you're not going to stand with the truth, then you're against the Most High. You're against Yahweh, no matter what. Because we shouldn't be with a lie because somebody Israelite. That's not truth, and you're not really for the kingdom. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom and pass the mic.
Come on, man. You hit it right on the nail. And you said some important stuff while I pass it to brothers of dark right now. You said some important stuff, man. You know, I have brothers that call, hey, man, come on my platform, come on my platform. Like right now, we got 6. It's been up to 12. They'll jump down to 5. It's at 6 right now. But brothers, you know, so you got brothers that want to jump over the platforms. Like, they'll jump over. All right, they might come over to your channel, Charles. You might have 50 something, 60 people watching at one time. You know, then, you know, they won't come over here unless you're on here or somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be big platforms. Brother, it's all about knowledge. It's all about spreading the word. I don't give a damn if there's one person watching. We get know saying somebody gonna get this truth today. Brothers of dark, go ahead, brother.
Shalom, brothers. Shalom. How y'all doing today?
And the topic is, brothers of dark, I'm gonna cut you off. Can we buy and sell on the Sabbath in these days of time, in this land, in this captivity?
I'm gonna have to say, man, according to the scriptures, man, no. But the question you posing is in this day and time, this new age or whatnot. I guess that would depend on the individual, man, and what they subscribe to, man, as far as your faith goes, what you believe in and what, but what I have learned, I don't think that would be I don't think that would be allowed, I mean, in this walk, and according to the scriptures, Nehemiah 13 and 15. I'm sorry, not Nehemiah 13. I think the brother already brought that out, man. Pretty much, we hit all on the scriptures on the Sabbath. It is a Sabbath. No, we're not going to buy. We're not going to sell, not going to do anything, like that. So, it is what it is. Right now, I'm just listening to you brothers, man, and just learning, that's all. I really don't have scriptures. I really don't have any scriptures on it. They all pretty much were brought out, but Sharsham he had some good points, man. Your good deeds that you put forth out here in the world, man, I think that's what's mainly really important. Matter of fact, Nehemiah 13, man, and 15, it says, or I'm sorry, 14, remember me, O God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God and for the offices thereof. So, you like the brother said, Sharsham, he said, I'm out here, man, trying to wake my people up, trying to do the best that I can. Brothers got to work on the Sabbath, sisters got to work on the Sabbath. But you're going to get struck down because of that. Your good deeds that you done unto your brethren, man, is going to get wiped out because you had to work, you had to survive, you had to eat, you had to feed your family. It's not like you willingly doing it. You in captivity, man. You don't really, you don't control nothing, man. Punch a clock. You know what I'm saying? You got to feed your family. You got to eat. Didn't the scripture say a man that don't take care of his household is worse than an infidel? So you gonna fall in that, or you gonna, but if you can't, you gotta eat. You gotta eat. You gotta pay the bills. You gotta, put gas in the car to get to the job, and this and that and the third, man. So, like I said, depending, on your faith, man. Where your faith stands at, man, is how you gonna move, man. So, it is what it is. That's all I got.
Come on, man. Let me move on to the next topic, man. Next topic, man. Since I got brother Sharshan right here, he the one that made me come up with this topic. Can an Israelite woman make an Israelite child with a Gentile man? Let me repeat that. Yes, y'all heard it out there. Can an Israelite woman lay down with a Gentile man and make an Israelite child? Now, let me start off. I'm gonna start off with this before I pass it to the brother Sharsham. I'm gonna say no, and I'm not gonna really dwell on it to the next topic. What is the MAMZER part 2? Because I think it all ties in together. But let the brother Sharsham explain that, because he kind of brought that out last time. Brother Sharsham, can an Israelite woman make an Israelite child land with a Gentile man. Brother, the floor is yours.
Well, like I said, dealing with this topic, it depends on the situation. And like I said, when you go into I believe it's First Chronicles, because I don't have my sword on me, it speaks about how the Egyptian took the Israelite woman. They had children, and they had a prophet come through that line. So it happened. You know, I don't think it's nothing that should be being done on a major scale, but it depends on the situation. Now, I would say depend on the Gentile man is. This was an Egyptian, someone of Negro stock. You know what I mean? Because Egyptians is considered Negroes. They look like Hebrews. So that's the only way I would say it would work. Same thing with Moses with the Ethiopians. They considered Negroes, so the children, it wouldn't affect the genealogy or the phenotype of the children. And even if they waited for like 2 generations to let those children come through a woman line and still be Israelites, and hey, there's no difference. Because like I said, a woman descendants is her seeds is children too. So I believe it's possible because the scriptures give an example of that. If that example of that wasn't in the Torah, then I would say no. Now, it's possible, but not possible with any nation. That's just how I feel about it. It can't be anybody. It has to be of someone of Negro stock. So that's how I gotta say on that. I'll pass it.
Okay. Okay. Let me see about we're gonna pass it to brother. I want to see what Brother Johnny Huda got to say. Brother Johnny Huda, what you got to say about that? Can a Israelite woman lay down with a Gentile man and make an Israelite child?
I would say yes, just from the scriptures I've seen. I'm real interested in that scripture that Sharshan brought out because I would love to read that. I probably have read it, but it didn't jump out of the page like how the brother explained it. So I want to see that because it kind of correlates with the other scripture in Leviticus about the Israelitish woman with a child by an Egyptian. But I mean, let's be honest, man. Israel was a mixed stock by the time Israel was even created. You know, our forefathers were giving their sons wives from their own stock all the way up until when Jacob had the kids by the concubines or by the maids. But other than that, they would always go back and get a daughter from like Laban or something to that effect. And they would then marry their cousins, and they would keep their stock pure. But at some point, when we went into Egypt, we went down into Egypt 70 deep. I'll get that real quick in Exodus. Because we went down 70 deep, probably very pure in our stock and our genealogy as far as who we intermingle with at that time. Exodus 1:5 states, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. So right there, we see that 70 people went into Egypt. So for them to come out at the amount they came out, which was like 600,000 in the book of Exodus chapter 12, verse 37, it says, and the children of Israel sojourned from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, besides children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. So we see that they multiply from 70 to, when they say, when you add on the women and children, it was over 1 million strong that came out of Egypt. So just the men, it was like 600,000. So we can't think that they did not intermingle with the Egyptian stock when they was there for those hundreds of years. So we already started out coming out of Egypt as a mixed race, so to say. And to prove that even further, when you go to Leviticus chapter 24, verse 10, it says, and the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian. So we see right there that mixed multitude that came up out of them. This was part of that mixed multitude, because we have scriptures that's bearing witness that even the women, you know, they had other nations as fathers of their children, just like we know that the men had other nation of women, the father or to bear their children. And it says, and the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian went out among the children of Israel and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. So just to make a long story short, I believe that a child that's born by an Israelite woman and a heathen man, I believe still is an Israelite. You know, I think it really just goes down to the doctrines and, you know, following the rules and regulations that was implemented within the lands at that time, and to some degree the inheritance also. So that's what I think at this time, that yes, you can have an Israelite child from just one parent being an Israelite.
Oh, very interesting. Boy, there gonna be some pushback today, damn it. Queen Naphtali, Queen, bless us with your knowledge. Can an Israelite woman lay down with a Gentile man, Queen, and make an Israelite child? The floor is yours, Queen Naphtali.
Yes, again, and thank you so much for having me on. I believe it works both ways. I'd go to Ezra chapter 9 as with my understanding, because the book of Ezra, it explained that how they had to do away with the children, because they say, for they have taken, and this is Ezra 9, it says, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons. So it speaks on the men with the daughters, and it speaks also with the sons. And it says, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those land. Yeah, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass. Now, are like what Sham was saying, there are certain situations. I mean, like we know that I believe Joseph had 2 Egyptian wives, and those children were part of the 12 tribes. So yeah, I believe it does matter if they are of Negro stock. I do believe that is to be true, but people have to understand, what is a Negro? You know, when we look into these different nations, we look into these different groups of people, a lot of people may be surprised as to who is actually a Negro and who is not, when we look at, you know, not all Hamites are black, okay? And but Egyptians were indeed black, and Ethiopians were indeed black. So when we see that the Egyptians, now when we look at the Canaanites, we know in Genesis 38 with Judah, he only married a Canaanite. I think was it 36? I don't want to lie. Let me get my scripture up. But I believe he married only a Canaanite woman, and his child Shelah was not accepted. They actually took the children that he had with Tamar. And if you look in the extra biblical text, Tamar was a Shemitic woman. She was from the house of Elam. So it does matter. And the Most High is going to pick and choose who he wants. That's also number one. But we do see in Ezra 9 that he does not want the holy seed to mingle, okay? Because with this "you are what your father is" doctrine, we look at Drake's child. Drake is biracial, but then we get to his child, who is also mixed out. When does that end? When do you put an end to when the child is completely mixed out? How do we know? You know, and that's when it becomes a problem, because when you look at these people that are located in the land, these Israelis who are located within the land, what if their DNA goes back to an actual children of, you know, someone of Israel? What if their DNA goes back to an actual Israelite, and they can trace their lineage to an actual Israelite? With this "you are what your father is," wouldn't it account for them? I mean, you know, we have to put limitations, and that's why the Most High says, you know, he wants us to remain as a whole, as a holy seed, a separate people. That's why he separated us. So that's why he has certain guidelines. But does he make exceptions for other, you know, like with, you know, what Sharshan brought up, and as well as what we saw with Joseph? Those exceptions are being made. But does that mean that the exception to the rule is the rule always? No, it's not. So that's what I have to say.
Con, you brought up some good points then. So let me ask you a question real quick. So do you believe that it's a difference if the seed goes into a Gentile woman than than a seed of a Gentile going to an Israelite woman? Do you believe it's a difference between the offspring?
I don't, because like I said, when I look at scripture and it says, for they have taken their daughters for themselves, and it says, now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations. So what it sounds like is that they're doing the works. It's like this. We not only marry these people, but we also take on their customs and their ways. We're also taking on that with Solomon, right? When he married those strange women, he started to worship their gods. He started to build temples for their gods. So their influence is causing us to sin. That is another problem. So no, I don't think it's any different from a man or from a woman. I do not. I take both, and I hold both of them accountable for each action. I hold them both the same.
But I think the main problem is this, that when you deal with that whole situation, it's because when you're dealing with all those other nations, it changed the phenotype of the child, and they look totally different and not of the nation. That's the issue. When you dealt with the Egyptians and the Ethiopians, the phenotype didn't change because they have the Negroid phenotype. So if you go and marry somebody that's Japanese or Chinese, they look different. They have the, you know, what's that look? That Patrick Mahomes look. You know what I mean? The Patrick Mahomes look and all that. That's the problem that I always seen with the mixing. But when it was someone of Negro phenotype, the phenotype don't change. They still look like a Negro.
A Blake Griffin look.
And I also want to say this too, and just to let me back on what you were saying, Sharsham, with the phenotype, it's how did they get that phenotype? It's how did the Japanese acquire this type of, you know, something's going on with these people's genetics. And that's what I don't want to say all this on your channel, but it's something up with these people's genetics. And we already know that the African is the pure human. And so these other people have admixture within their DNA. I'm gonna just say it like that. I'm gonna keep it simple. But yeah, that's another thing. He wants his people to remain pure as we possibly can. So, and that's how I feel about that.
Because when you look at Blake Griffin, man, Blake look like a Blake like a caveman in the face. Blake look like a straight Neanderthal in the face.
Well,
man.
That's what I was gonna say, but I don't, you know, I'm not in my house, so I can't just be saying stuff on people's channels. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Blake looks just like a straight Neanderthal in the face. You know, his daddy's Haitian, so he's kind of like what a gorilla Hebrew would be. You know, daddy Haitian, mama white. You know, him and his brother out there, I don't know, they twins or they like a year apart. But I'm like, damn, well, you like a damn caveman in the face, though. And then Blake married back down to a white girl, or well, I have a kids from a white girl. So them kids gonna look straight Neanderthal, straight white. But Brother Doc, you're the last person on this. Can an Israelite woman lay down, Brother Doc, with a Gentile man and make an Israelite child, Brother Doc?
I'm gonna just come straight out with it, man. According to the scriptures or what I read, man, I don't think so. I mean, I know there's multiple breakdowns or whatnot, but there's a lot of confusion going on with that within the scriptures. But like the brother Sharsham said earlier, man, depending on the situation, there's situations, you know, that the Most High would, you know, put on a certain individual to allow them to carry out His will. You know, so it's all comes down to the will of the Most High, how He want to deal with it. He's going to choose, you know, whom he chooses. But with the scriptures, just overall, you know, stated, no, you separate from the heathen. You know, the sister brought out, you know, Ezra 9, you know, that we weren't supposed to take on their daughters or their sons and things like that, because there was, you know, you can't mingle that holy seed. So no, just right off rip, man. No, I don't think a Israelite woman can lay down with a Gentile man and make an Israelite child. There's a purpose that the Most High would bring out. We don't know about that. With somewhere down the line that there would be some righteous act or something going on or whatever. But you know, I know in the biblical times, I don't, you know, all of that went on. You got, you know, in the Old Testament, you know, in the so-called New Testament and things of that nature. But as far as these day and ages, no, I don't think so. I'm just going to keep it at that. I don't think an Israelite woman an Israelite child can be like by blood, you know, pedigree, blood, lineage. An Israelite child can come out of a Gentile man, you know, from an Israelite woman. No.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find and you know, maybe one of these brothers and sisters have it in the scriptures where the child of a Israelite woman and Gentile man became a king. I see where, you know, the Gentile woman and the Israelite man, the product of that became kings, of King David, all of them, you know, they had Gentile mothers. But I don't see where the offspring from a Gentile man became held a position in the Israelite community.
I don't think
well, y'all have
Well, First Chronicles, like I said, I believe it's Azariah. He was a prophet that came out the line of the Egyptian. That had the child with the Israelite woman. A prophet came out that line. So it's in First Chronicles. I gotta find it. It wasn't a king, but he was a prophet. That's what I was saying. Like, you know, it happened. So then it depends on like that time or whatever the Most High allowed. So I only can go off based off what's in the scriptures. Like, I'm not going to lie about it. It's there. But now, as far as a king, I would say no. I never saw that, and that's just honest.
Come on. Now, the sister Weezy posed a question in here. I don't know if one of y'all want to answer. And she mean, but is there a difference between Gentiles and heathens? Is there a difference between Gentiles and heathens? Because we, you know, several camps say, no, Gentiles is not everybody outside of Israel. No, Gentiles is just the white nations, or, you know, the white and Asian nations. Did anybody want to tackle that question that Sister Weezy, One Love, have? She said, but, because the bias is a typo, but is there a difference between Gentiles and heathens? Do anybody want to answer that?
I mean, I believe they pretty much is the same, because a Gentile is pretty much a heathen. It's just a heathen is only I think it means just other nation or another nation. That's just what we call them, and they're not the chosen, so they still Gentiles. So they pretty much the same thing. I don't look at it as no difference. Because even Israelites can become one as a heathen when they live lawless, and we treat them like a heathen. And also that you had Israelites that was Gentiles, that was Hellenized. They was living in a Gentile state of mind, you know, living like Gentiles, didn't know that they was Israel from the disperse and losing of our identity. So they pretty much the same thing, just two words, just depending on how you're using it. That's what I believe on that. See you on.
Come. We're gonna move on to the next topic. Now, the next topic should be a pretty good one. I'm gonna start off with the Queen Nefertari, because it really concerns her, I guess. Should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations, in the household than men? Let me repeat that. Should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations and households than men? Before the Queen starts off, let me get my 2 cents in on it. I don't think that Israelite women should have equal or more power in the congregations and household than men, but I do think they should have power. As we see in the scriptures, we have a lot of powerful prophetesses in there. We have a lot of powerful women in there. They really don't talk about them too much in the Israelite community, and that might be for for personal reasons or selfish reasons or whatever. But I do believe they should have power in the congregations, not more than the men. Let me emphasize that. I do believe they should have say-so in power in the congregation, because they got to rule over the kids, but not more power than the men, because it's order and structure. But we could go into scriptures. I think that might be 1 Timothy or 2 Titus, or whatever it is, the order, structure of the household and the congregation. If a man cannot rule his household, how can he rule the congregation of the Most High? But let me pass this question on to Sister Queen Nefertari. Should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations and households than men? Sister, the floor is yours.
Oh yeah, this is a question right here. Oh my goodness, yes.
It was so funny because people gonna be like, the scoring black men, man, don't you get on women all the time? No, we get on men mostly. It's just the 25% of the time we get on women, they think I'm a misogynist and all this shit right here. But no, I'm back to the queen.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and answer that question for you. I actually agree with you. I believe that there is an order. The Most High established the order. The man is the head, okay? And the head of the man is Hamashiach. But yes, I don't believe women, because when I had to understand this myself, the man will die for his family. Women, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what a woman says. They want to have all this power. They want to talk about this feminism. But if something was to go down, the man is the one that she's going to look to go out and take care of that problem. Okay.
Right,
like that's
right.
just
He got to die. He got to die.
exactly. I mean, and I am I'm a very feminine woman, but I'm also a very opinionated woman. I have an opinion, but I do understand my place. And that's one thing about, like, with me coming out, it's not too many women coming out and teaching. And when I do, I am met with a lot, when I say a lot, of backlash. And I do respect the brothers that do allow a sister to come on and share information and share knowledge. Because in the last days, and I'm going to quote this scripture, Joel 2:28, it shall come to pass that he's going to pour his spirit, Most High is going to pour his spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy. I have to repeat this constantly because I'm constantly being bombarded by, like you said, Timothy. But there is no law where it states that a woman is not able to teach. I just say to share information and to share knowledge. I like to share information because I feel as there's like a weak point, a weak area where I feel like I can become that helpmeet to help my brothers out. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking to assert my authority over the men. You know, like when I'm over there with FOPE, Elder Quanah is the elder. I never would be an elder. I don't want to be an elder, but I have that respect, and I'm going to display that respect. But I do want people to respect the sisters, because we are not just there to lay down in a bed for a man. We're not just there to take care of the children, because trust me, I know a lot of sisters are holding jobs and bringing in some money, okay? And bringing in that money. We're out there wrestling with these people too. You know, I work every day. You know, I work. And so I'm out there working, and I'm out there in the streets. So it's like, if a woman can work, then why can't she teach? You know, something like, you know, bring out, because you don't mind your woman working. That's something that I'm going to have to say. Now, your woman shouldn't be working if you don't want her teaching, because if she's at work, trust me, I'm holding meetings. I'm conducting meetings. I'm in charge of a lot of things at work. So if I can do that at work, then what's the problem with me helping out within this truth is what I ask. And you guys can definitely respond to that, because I'm really interested in hearing your opinion on that. But like I said, no, I don't believe a woman needs to assert her authority over a man. I don't think we need to have equal, but I do think we need to have a presence. And I do believe that there is a weak area, and the woman has some really good information that will help build, you know, like Huldah. You know, she was there to provide a missing link to the priests and to them about some information. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help. We're a helpmeet. But as far as asserting authority, like having the same power, I don't think we need to have the same power, but I do think we need to have some power, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna pass it to the brother Don Yehuda. But let me tell a quick story though. It's kind of, and I don't know the brother Shashay, remember this. Well, he remind me bringing it out. But you had what's his name, brother? Damn, what's his name with Army of Israel, Marachar, right? And y'all was debating the 12 tribe chart, and y'all had a sister on there, man. I don't remember the sister name, but she cussed that nigga out. He said, hey, he said, Konam, man, we gotta have some order in here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We gotta have some order. She said, nigga, it wasn't talking about no motherfucking Israelites. Women can't talk. They were talking about Gentiles. I said, oh my Lord, this is deal was going in. I mean, like, she was going like, I like, it kind of made me uncomfortable. Hey, Shawsham, you remember that, Shawsham?
I'm trying to think. It might have been it might have been Sister Tracy.
It was the episode when Marashah, he got mad with Kanaf because the woman was on there, and then he was like, no, I fuck with you, Shawsham, but I don't fuck with Kanaf no more. It was that episode, it was like about a year or two ago. But the sister went in on him. I was like, oh god damn.
That had to be Tracy.
Yeah, that probably who it was.
It had to be Tracy. It had to be Tracy.
Sister Weezy, man, she made you look soft, Sister Weezy. You would have heard her. Sister Weezy is strong, but she made Sister Weezy goddamn. Sister Weezy look soft, man, because she went in on Marashah. But brother Shawsham, though, the question.
But I just wanted to let me back on there real quick. But she is right. But she is right. That is speaking to the Church of Corinth. And a lot of those were Gentiles. And he was speaking when Paul was speaking, he was speaking to those a lot of those Gentile women, because he was establishing those churches for the Gentiles. So I do agree with her on that. I don't believe that he was speaking to women of Israel, because if you look at the Church of Corinth, they were, oh my goodness, those people there, those Corinthians, they were heathens. They were doing heathenistic type things. So yeah, I can see that.
Now, let me ask you this right here, Queen. Do you believe if your opinion differs from an Israelite man's opinion, should you cuss him out?
No, I don't use that type of language. Like, I don't use curse words. I don't curse. Just in natural, but
okay.
I don't think anybody needs to be using that type of language at all.
Man,
she
cusses ass.
It's a time and a place. But yeah, some people do need to get cursed out though. No.
She cussed his ass. Boy, I said, damn. But yeah.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't do that, but yeah, I get it.
But I'm gonna pass the question to Brother Shawsham. Should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations and the household than men?
Well, I'm gonna say they should not have equal power, not in the household, but they should have some type of power and say, because they're part of the nation. So I would say that. But as far as like the church and the household, then no, it can't be equal, because that'll go against scripture. That'll go against the order. But they should have some type of power because they are part of the nation. The women is a part of the nation, just like women is a part of any other nation. And a nation does not just consist of men. Now, but of course, the men will have the final say in the way that we run things, but they act like the Israelite women are not brilliant and doesn't have ideas. Not saying that men ain't either, but like I said, you could just read the book of Black Inventors and see how many of our sisters invented many things just like our brothers. So we stronger together when we together as one. The problem is what we seeing and what's happening is because the Israelite community is so misogynistic and biased towards our women, because a lot of these guys was nobodies in the world, you know, and see a dude like me see that, because I've been having money, I've been having a lot of women and having fun and doing things. So when I see these dudes in the Israelite community and why they want to hold on power and control the women the way they do, because they never could do it in the world that's not of Israel. See,
bring it out, Sean.
Yeah, see, I study behavior of people, and I know this because I was a fornicator. I dealt with many women, you know, and I repented from that. I tell people that all the time, not proud of it. But, you know, these guys, they get into this truth, man. They get an opportunity to have 2, 3 wives. That's a great thing for them because they never dealt with 2, 3, 4 women at a time before and could experience that. So now that they got these women under subjection where, they can just give me their money. It don't matter how they look or whatever school they into. They can be the biggest, fattest looking dude, out of shape and out of breath, and sit around and sit on his ass all day and do nothing, but got a nice looking woman that's doing everything she need to do because she's in the truth. He married to her. They're in the same school. He got an opportunity to have this kind of sister and that kind of sister that he probably would have never had in the world. A lot of these guys see that they found hope. They found new life. And then they get around these brothers and they don't want to lose none of that stuff. They don't want to lose no power. So they got to keep the sisters subjected underfoot. And the problem with that is it's causing mixing in the nation because you got these heathens that infiltrated Israel. They all through the camps. That's why you got guys like Cockroach married to a black woman and having mongrel children. And he got a black wife in ISUPK and putting his seed in that woman. Because these dudes was nobodies. A lot of them are. And then now they in the community. They want to be famous. And they want people to follow them. And they think they know it all and they can lead us. But when they run across real alpha males, especially men of Zion who can see past the bullshit, you can't pull them fast ones on me. I've been in the world. I've been a player. I did all those things. So guys like that, I look at as clowns. I laugh at them because I'm like, who were you before you put on your holy garment and your headpiece? Now you got your belt set on in your cape and you officer of 10, 20,000, 20, and you ain't even got 20,000 members in your school. You know what I mean? So yeah, the sisters should definitely have more power and more say because they're part of the nation, and a nation is made of men, women, and children, not just men. So I'll pass the mic.
Powerful, brother. Powerful, man. You said some real shit then, man. You know what I'm saying? And Sister Weasel say silly women. They leave silly women. You know what I'm saying? What's that scripture? It said leave silly women captives. You know what I'm saying? Niggas sticking in the houses, leading silly women captives. Because it is right, because but I want to talk about the men. Damn the silly women right now. You hit on a point. These niggas ain't had no women out in the real world. You know, let's just be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? We got a sister on here, so I'm gonna keep it PG today. You know, they ain't had no poo nanny. They didn't have, you know, they wasn't juggling 2, 3, 4 women at a time. You know, all praise to the Most High, they wasn't. They wasn't, you know what I'm saying, forced into this fornication life that we might have lived before, you know, but now they come into the truth. They want to become pimps now all of a sudden. Now they're pimping not only the men in the congregation, they're pimping the women in the congregation. You know, you never had power over a woman. So you don't know what it feels like to even have a certain control, not even control, just be able to have a woman to listen to you and to do what you want her to do. So now you come in this truth and you putting Bible scriptures to her. Now you got a feeling of a woman submitting to you and doing what you want to do, but you're using it for the wrong. You're not using it for the right. And I feel Brother Shashim on that. Brother Zadok, before I pass it to Brother Don Yehuda, Brother Zadok, should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations and the households than men? Brother, the floor is yours. Zadok,
depending on the situation. Once again, you know, if a woman is married, what if the husband? There's some background noise. What is that? Something banging.
Hold on, I'm on mute. I'm sorry.
There's a depending on the situation, a woman, you know, say her husband may be disabled or whatnot, you know, and he's unable to work, you know, and bring in, you know, the bread like he, you know, supposed to be, and she had to take over. It's not that, like the sister Queen said, it's not that she's usurping her authority, but she's more of a helpmeet. You got to look at, there were powerful women in the scriptures also, and the power, not meaning the almighty power, but given authority by the Most High God. Like you got Miriam, who protected and pretty much saved Moses. during that time of what was going on there. And you got Deborah, who was given a commandment, you know, pretty much commanding who was Barak, one of the generals of an army, to go into battle against Sisera. So that's a power that was given, but that was given unto the Most High. She wasn't usurping her authority over the man, but she was to be a judge, because God had promised her, promised that he would deliver Sisera in the Barak hand. But Barak, you know, only said, "Hey, I'm gonna go if Deborah go with me." You know what I'm saying? So, no, I in the households, no, she's not to usurp her authority, and she shouldn't have any power there. But her power should be pretty much in her wisdom. Her power should be in her wisdom. Her power should be the Proverbs 31.
Con. Brother Don Yehuda. Brother Don Yehuda, should Israelite women have equal or more power in the congregations and the household than men? Brother, the floor is yours. You speak so eloquently.
Hey, I can't speak more eloquent than the rest of the guests on today. I mean, they hit so many great points on this topic right here. I do agree that there's a pecking order within the household. I mean, there's a pecking order just in life in general, whether you're at work, whether you're in some type of organization, even within the community or organized crime. There's always a pecking order. There's always a head, there's a feet, there's an in-between. So I do believe that. I mean, we read that in 1 Corinthians 11:3, where the order is. But the scriptures also say that, you know, once a man takes on a wife, they become one flesh. And so I believe that even though there's an order, if your wife is resonating on the same vibration that you are, and she's of the intellect as you are, in some cases, some of our sisters are even at a higher spiritual intellect than our brothers, that whatever it is that you're setting down, she's going to set the same thing down. It's going to be a representation of you. So it's almost like it's equal power, even though you're the head of the household and you're doing things, but y'all speaking in unison. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're laying down as the foundation, she's going to be 10 toes down on that, whether it's with the kids, whether it's in just general conversation with somebody, whether it's in teaching. I mean, women have played a profound role behind the scenes in Israel. I mean, we used to have queen mothers that would, you know, advise the kings. I mean, we see that in Proverbs 31, where it talks about King Lemuel and his mother taught him, and what he taught him, what she taught him. You know, it's about finding a Proverbs 31 woman. That woman is far few in between, but you know, that woman, if you're at a lower state of spirituality, understanding, it's going to seem that she's going to have more power than you, because her vibration, her enlightenment is higher than yours, but it's her job to, you know, bring you up. So do I think that a woman should have more power than a man? I don't look at it as far as that. I think that if you operating in righteousness and you operating on a higher level, they're going to operate on the same playing field, because what I say, she going to say what she say, I'm going to say, because it's going to be in truth and righteousness. We locked in. It's like a hive mind. We locked in. So when I'm absent, she going to be my representation when I'm absent. When she teaching the kids, it's like I'm teaching the kids, because she teaching them, because we on the same playing field. We in sync. So that's how I look at it. So I think, you know, it's an ebb and flow in everything. You know, leaders, CEOs and CEOs deliberate behind the scenes. So a husband and wife will deliberate over issues behind the scenes. But in essence, they one and the same, because we become one flesh. That's if you know, come into the situation already enlightened, or y'all got to that point at some point. I do believe you can be unequally yoked, which could cause problems. But we're not speaking on that. We're just speaking as far as on that level. I think that a woman is going to honor her man because she know what it is to be a righteous woman, how to honor a man, how to facilitate the things and his vision, and how to also peep the weakness in that vision and bring the pertinent information, strength, and motivation to correct all those things, because that's what they're supposed to do. They also help me. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a wife that don't know nothing and then expect her to bail you out when you stumble and you ain't taught her nothing, or she hasn't learned on her own, or both. You know what I'm saying? I know a brother that used to use those scriptures man, he used to roughshod them sisters, man. He used to use them scriptures just to do whatever he wants to them sisters. And he would lean on that 1 Corinthians 11:3. Yeah, I'm the head of the house. You're supposed to do what I'm saying. But brother, are you showing love in the household? Are you showing understanding? Are you listening? You know what I'm saying? She could be saying some real shit to you that could be really providing and you know, elevating your situation. But because you just stuck in his mindset of she can't say nothing, you know, that's a
Right.
wrong outlook on things.
Right. Old nigga mentality. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
no, you can't. I'm the head. I'm the king. You just listen and just do what the hell I tell you. Nigga, you don't even have no damn knowledge. She got more knowledge than you. You might want to shut the fuck up and kind of soak it in. You know, she's going to try to give you a righteous woman that's in the truth that has more knowledge than you. She's going to try to build you up if she's righteous, you know. And you have some women that, you know, they try to sort they, you know, oh, nigga, I know more than you. Blah, blah, blah. You can't tell me nothing, blah, blah, blah. Nigga, you just learn from me. But you have the righteous women that actually know, and they build their men up. And they still let them be the men of the household. You know. But we're going to go on to the next topic. And this is going to be a good one right here. Can we use marijuana for any purposes? Let me repeat that. Can we use marijuana, the weed, the OG Kush? Can we use it for any purposes? Smoking, eating. You know you make plenty of clothes and everything with hemp. Can we use marijuana for any purposes? And let me start off with this, my brothers. Let me make a confession. Your brother Zadok, HILLTOPSTROPHIC. I am a medical marijuana patient. Have been for many years. Been recreational for many years. Now, when I go to the dispensary now, what do Zadok buy? What do HILLTOPSTROPHIC buy? Well, HILLTOPSTROPHIC loves some little edibles. As we see in Genesis, use every green herb for meat. Now that I did the confession about edibles and being a medical marijuana patient, being a medical marijuana advocate, whatever you want to call it, I can't pronounce it. I'm country. So, yes, I do believe that we can use it for meat. That's edibles. I do believe you can indulge in edibles. Everything must be done in moderation, just like wine. And I'm going to go even a little farther. And this is probably going to rattle some people here, but hell, this is Controversial and Deep Conversations, part 6. If you ain't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button right now, Negroes. Yes, I do believe that we can indulge in flour, in oils, THC pills, anything that marijuana has derived from, anything that it makes. I do believe it. According to the scripture, all this. When I just read the Bible, and let's go beyond Genesis. Let's go beyond use every green herb for meat. When I've been in the book of Enoch. I know some of y'all, I think the Queen indulged in that. I've seen spots in there where I'm like, oh, that sounds like marijuana right there. Those plants around the throne that smell so potent, and we can use. I see marijuana throughout it. A green herb is marijuana. Now we have differences in the Hebrew Israelite community. You have a lot of Hebrew Israelites that say, hey, yeah, we can use it as meat, only edibles. But I believe you can smoke it too. Sister Weezy say, I used to smoke marijuana. I don't smoke it anymore, but I definitely wouldn't judge someone who do it. I wouldn't either. Like I say, some good 300 milligram gummies, about 10 of them in 30 milligrams of gummy. Hey, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. Buying you an infused pizza, wings, hey, man, jams, jellies, peanut butter. Here, you can buy the THC butter and make your cookies, Rice Krispie treats, brownies. I don't believe there's nothing wrong with marijuana. I think marijuana is perfectly fine. And I believe it's fine to smoke it too. I'm going to put it out there. So, but never mind what I think. It's what the whole panel say, and I'm gonna go and pass it. I'm gonna start off with the brother Zadok. We haven't started off with him yet. Brother Zadok with an S. My good Zadok brother. Can we use marijuana, the weed, the reefers, the OG cushions? Can we use it for any purposes? Any purposes? That mean by using by any means, by any purposes. Brother, the floor is yours.
Well, the scriptures say, man, herb bearing seed, right? For use it for meat. Smoking and things of that nature. I'll say this, man, to each his own, man. Whatever you feel, man, that gets you closer to the Most High, or closer to whatever helps you study, sleep, heals your, arthritis, whatever. If it helps you out, as long as your mind is set on, pleasing the Most High, man, walking in righteousness, you're not committing murders, you don't smoke a blunt or hit the bull, whatever, however you do, or eat a couple gummy bears and go knock somebody upside the head. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think you all right. I personally, I used to smoke, man, like every day in and day out. I don't miss it, because I wasn't in no faith, man. I didn't believe in nothing, man. I believed in, smoking high, getting high. You know what I'm saying? Smoking weed. That's it. That's what I believed in. And but as I started to get older, and responsibilities and different things and jobs. Now in this captivity, it was illegal for a while. Now they made this thing legal, but for medicinal purposes only. And I guess you have to have a card, like you said. It's prescribed to you for medical, purposes. But and I have a CDL Class A, so I can't smoke. I mean, I can't say I can't. I could, but there would be some consequences.
I have one too. I have CDL, but I don't drive.
Yeah, you don't drive. You don't drive. See, I drive for a living. This is how I eat. This is how I literally eat. So I can't sit around, man, and just be something happen and then I get pulled. They do a urinalysis on me. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't see nothing wrong as far as in the scriptures, because in ancient times, these things were used, marijuana and things of that nature were used for medicinal purposes, but it becomes a problem when these things become habitual, you know what I mean? And you become an addict to it, or let it take over, your entire life, you know what I'm saying? And you outside on the corner smoking, and then you going to buy these things from drug dealers who that money is going somewhere else. So might be some blood on your hands somewhere down the line, because that money is being funneled through terrorist activities and guns and shooting, the youth out here dying and things of that nature. So I just wouldn't have no hand. I don't want to part in it. I lived that life before, but like I said, to each his own. That you got to take that up with the Most High at the end. You know what I'm saying? So, and there it is, man. I don't see really no harm in it as far as, using it for the right purposes. I'll say that.
Man, hey, man, I'm not fucking the truth, but listen, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, marijuana has been a fight for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Because I just been used to smoking weed, you know what I'm saying, since I was a teenager, man. And I don't, like you said, I don't smoke it. I never smoked it and went out there and killed anybody. And like when I smoke, I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? I always just been chilling from a teenager, you know what I'm saying, till. But it's just like I remember when I first got in the truth, man. I was going to IUIC, man, you know what I'm saying? I'll blow one. Hey, man, before I get ready, I'll blow one about an hour or two. I'm ready to go in there, man. They were like, hey, brother, your hair kind of smell like marijuana. Like, nah, brother, man, you smell the incense, man. You smell the incense, brother. But we're going to pass this thing to Short Sam. Short Sam, I'm going to put you on the hot spot, man. I'm going to put you on the hot spot today, Short Sam. Can we use marijuana, the reefer, the weed, the OG Kush for any purposes? When I'm talking about any purpose, I'm talking about edibles, flowers, THC pills, the oils, the ointments that you put in your, so you got aches in your joints, you rub the ointment on you like Ben Gay. They got you pop like the Tin Man or somebody. Can we use it for any purposes? The floor is yours, Sharshan.
Okay. Well, I want to say this first. I used to smoke marijuana, but I don't do any kind of drugs in any form or fashion. I just drank a little wine here and there. And the reason why, because the Most High told me when I was a child, you will never do that. You will never be addicted to drugs, because I watched my parents
Hold
go
on,
through
Shasham.
that.
Let me stop you right there, Shasham. Let me stop and ask you a question. Do you consider marijuana a drug or a herb, or you consider it both?
I consider it both, because just like any medicine, some is herbs or drugs too. So that's why I was saying, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. You'll understand why I'm saying this, right? Because I have friends that's addicted to marijuana, like a person is addicted to crack, and it's bad for them. And sort of like how Ricky Williams' condition was, he couldn't stop it. He needed it when he wake up, before he go to sleep, when he eat. Some people saying, I wish I could just breathe marijuana smoke and not air. Shit's crazy. So what I'm saying is, anything that we use to treat ailments or to better our health. I'm not against that. If brothers is using it for that reason, then yeah, I'm fine with it. But when you're using it to get high, just to lift yourself, to get out of space, to escape reality, to me, then it's a problem. Because now you're doing it as an addiction and not as a healing technique, or to just make yourself feel better. As far as taking it out of the state to smoke it, I don't agree with that, because I know the Most High created us to breathe in air, not in films. Because if we're going to breathe in marijuana smoke, then we should breathe in any other kind of smoke. But nobody's going to do that. So that's why I don't believe we should smoke anything, any type of product, in that state form, because you putting that into your lungs, where your air is inhaling that, so you can breathe. And I know we should be breathing air and not marijuana smoke. Some people smoke 24/7, all day, every day. That's all they want to do. They want to smoke weed more than they breathe air, because they want to get high. And that's the issue, They trying to escape reality. So I'm against that part of it. But far
So
as
what about?
Go ahead.
So what about if people say, well, we was in the temples and they had all the incense, and the Levites would do all kind of stuff and inhale all these incense. What about people that say that right there?
Well, you have to understand what you mean by inhaling incense. If you had incense and you just had a sweet, savory smell going around the temple, I'm pretty sure the temple ain't smoked out. Like, you just had a little incense burning. You talking about, you got these dudes getting gas masks and rolling these big old blunts and putting their face in like a whole thing of smoke, and their whole facial expression is changed. They get the goofy look, eyes red as hell. That's not happening to you by smelling the sweet, savory smell of incense. It's different. It's like beyond. And we know that kind of stuff they didn't have pills and all that kind of stuff back then with THC, and all this stuff is modern stuff. So if people using oil to heal themselves, to make themselves better so they can live, I'm all for it. But when you're doing it just to get high, just to go out of space, just to party and have fun, no, you're not using it for a good purpose. And it's just like the pig. The pig is useful. The Most High made it, is used for many things. Same thing with marijuana. I never really get at brothers for smoking it and doing all that stuff with it, because I was a user at one time, but I can't get addicted to drugs. I even tried lean unwillingly, and it was so great, but I just don't get addicted to drugs. The Most High told me that no drug has ever made me addicted. Never tried crack or nothing like that. But from any things that I did do, I could never get addicted to drugs. That's how I did my parents. Most High told me when I was a child that wouldn't happen to me. But I don't promote people doing any kind of drugs. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But I tell them, just use it in a way that it would help you and not destroy you. Because I had a friend that's like that, and marijuana destroyed his life. Like, he need weed when he wake up, before he eat, before he go to sleep, and that's just marijuana. It's like a crack addiction to him. And I was like, that's not a good thing when you got, drugs got a hold of you like that, and you ain't even on crack. They're making you steal and do crazy stuff. Like, this is weed. So and also depends on how it affect the individuals, because everything don't affect everybody the same. You know, some people have those effects like how it has on him. Some people could do it for recreation use here and there, and they don't have no effects on them. And some people would just ruin their life, like a running back, Ricky Williams. You know, he messed up his whole NFL career because of weed. So it depends. You know, too much of anything is bad, too little of anything is bad, but it must be balanced. So that's what I'm gonna say on that.
Con, I'm gonna have to agree with you on what you said. Marijuana can alter like your, like when you said that your home, like your homeboy, he couldn't eat unless he smoke. You know what I'm saying? You know, like marijuana give you the munchies, right? And if you, it's addicted to the point where your body gets addicted. Your body get accustomed to, all right, I got to have some marijuana, some THC in my system. It could be through, I mean, like most of us came up smoking, but it could be through edibles or you know what I'm saying, whatever. I mean, hey, they got the sodas, the goddamn lemonades, the damn beers, and everything. Everything has THC in it. But your body will get used to having THC in it before you get hungry. So and that is what they call it, addictive chemicals, or well, not chemicals, but just addictive traits. So I do feel you on that point right there. Let me see what the good sister Nefertali has to say. Good queen, can we use marijuana, the reefers, the OG Kush, the weed for any purposes?
Well, in Psalms 104:14, he says he causes the grass to grow for the cattle and the herb for the service of man. So the herb is for the service of man. I'm gonna start with that. It is to serve. It's a purpose, because I don't believe the Most High would create anything. But like what Sharsham said about the pig, pigs are around. But when it comes to the marijuana, I'm gonna give you a little history on it. Cannabis actually goes back to the Canaanites. That's actually their thing. They actually, that's why it's grown everywhere around them. But when it comes to the marijuana, I believe that it does serve a purpose. Like you said, people rub the oil on their legs. If you're feeling stressed or you needed to be relaxed, if it's there to benefit you, but like everything within moderation. It's like with wine, I don't smoke. I've tried it when I was younger. Never sat well with me, and I've never touched it again. I'm not a drinker. I can, drink some wine or, have a cocktail or something like that, maybe one, but I'm not a drinker. But yeah, so it does serve a purpose, but I don't think that the way people are abusing it's abused. And it's like I see people in the car with their children with the windows up smoking it. I see people constantly smoking it all day. If it's causing addiction like that, then maybe there's something that you shouldn't be partaking in. But like with alcohol, everything in moderations. Now, if you got like a medical reason, and you're taking it for medicinal purposes, and that's like the way that this marijuana is that it's not even regulated. The stuff that people get on the street, it's not regulated. It's not really grown the correct way. They're mixing it with a lot of other components. But if you're getting it, with the medical card, then you're actually getting the actual herb. A lot of people are not even getting the herb. They're mixing it with other things, and they're yeah, it's not even the real herb. And then when you're adding fire to it, that changes the chemical complexity of it. So now it's not even like, a lot of herbs are out there, but are you putting it in a pipe, or you putting it in, you can take the herb, but you don't have to smoke it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's giving you a different type of response to it. And then they're just taking out the THC. Why do you have to do that? It's a herb. Nobody does that with anything else. We have to think about the way people are utilizing this. You know, if you're taking that marijuana and you're getting it down to an oil, that's using the herb. Like we will see people doing that with the frankincense, with the myrrh, but you're not smoking it, and it's causing it goes across the blood-brain barrier in your brain, and it's causing a chemical reaction within inside your brain. So that's when it becomes a problem, because like I said, there's many herbs. You know, the dandelion grows out there. That is a very medicinal herb, but nobody's smoking the dandelion. But that's not the only way you can eat it. You know, are you going to eat the marijuana? You know, are you going to make it into, like you said, with the edible? That's fine, because now you're eating it like it's a food. But when you're smoking it, it's changing it, and that's when it becomes a drug. It's no longer an herb, if that makes sense. Oh my, that's what makes sense.
Yes, that makes a whole lot of sense. And you said something very important. You said a couple of points. I forgot the second one, but maybe come back when I say this first one. You said when you buy on the streets, you don't know what you're getting.
I'm sorry, my cat just typed that in there. I don't mean to cut you off, but my cat just typed all that in there. I'm gonna delete that. I do apologize.
Oh, go ahead. But you said that, you know, when you go to the dispensaries, everything there is tested. And no matter what they're selling in there, hell, they're selling t-shirts. The t-shirts is tested for hemp. You know what I'm saying? So everything is tested, it's put it on there. When you buy these stuff off the streets, you don't know what you're damn buying. Even when you're buying edibles from, you know, so-called people that's baking edibles and all this kind of stuff like that. Then you brought up, the second point you brought up is that when you see people that's basically they just drug addicts. I hate to call a person that does marijuana a drug addict, but if you're abusing, I'm put it like that. What they say in the book of Sirach, when they talk about the wine is put here to make us glad. The marijuana plant is here to heal us and make us glad, but in moderation. The wine in moderation, because why it tells you about the wine, when you drink it out of moderation, it said it causes you to cause wounds upon yourself. You fall down, busting your head. It causes you to brawl. You want to fight every damn body. So everything must be done in moderation. And last but not least, Brother Don Yehuda, can we use marijuana, the weed, / the herb, the reefer, for any purposes? Floor is yours, brother.
I mean, they brought out once again some great points. I mean, I totally dig what Brother Shah Sam was saying as far as the addiction. I used to smoke weed heavy back in the day. In my former life, I didn't only used to smoke it. I was the weed man. Like, so I had weed at all times, 365, all the way up until I came into the truth. And so my everyday operation was wake up, smoke. Before I eat, smoke. After I eat, smoke. If I'm going to do an event, I gotta smoke before, during, after. I mean, it was smoke, smoke, smoke. You know what I'm saying? And it was for the purpose of the feeling that I was getting from the weed. And then when you couple that with meeting up with your homies and they got weed, now you quintupling the blunts that's going around, because now you matching. Let's match. So
hey, Don Yehuda, let me stop you. Hey man, let me stop you real quick, man. Keep your train of thought. Now this is a funny story. Okay. So this is how I met the brother Don Yehuda, right? And the brother Don Yehuda just gave y'all some insight to his life. Me and brother Don Yehuda life is very, very similar. You know, I know some people that stay up in his area, in the dark area in the neck of the woods. You know, and just like Don Yehuda told you, you know what I'm saying? You know, we ain't gonna put it out there like that, but we gotta give you a little insight. You know, bales upon bales upon bales. Okay? Bales upon bales. You know, like motherfucker ain't new to this, motherfucker was true to this. And there's a lot of Hebrews left the game cold turkey, man. Left money out there in the streets, like, hey, you know, man, cause we doing this for the Most High now. So what the brother is telling you is real. And how I met the brother, I seen the brother on Instagram. You just popped up because I guess some people from the same city, and and I seen a picture, you know what I'm saying, of you. I said, this brother here wilding. But then I seen the Hebrew shit. But see, I picture I had to go all the way down to your shit. I said, oh, okay. And then I asked, the dudes I knew up from your neck of the woods about to, hey man, what y'all know about this brother? Oh, don't say he do, don't say man, he do this thing over there, man. You know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. I said, okay. You know what I'm saying? I said, but the brother don't change his, change his ways, man. But this is some real stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas let the game cold turkey. So what the brothers are telling you, you know all about it. And I can vouch for him. Go ahead, brother Daniel Huda, man. I ain't mean to cut you off, man.
Yeah, that's real spit, man. And yeah, that was my former life, And I lived and died that thing. Like that's everything was about that. Kind of very similar also to like Shar Sham, with the drugs or that lifestyle come women, fast living, money, things of that nature. But just to stay on topic, man, it's like I understand the whole notion of that when you smoke it more than in moderate consideration, you do become addicted to it. In a long time, I used to struggle with that thing and denounce it like, I ain't addicted to smoking weed. I just do it just because I want to. But my wife would tell you that whenever I didn't have no weed, I was a different person. I get real attitudey and everything. And this is before I started even getting on a larger scale of hustling, like in my lower level. When I first started my panhandling days, I get only ounces here and there, whatever, run out. She ended up having to purchase me some weed just so I could be calm, cool, and collective. And I used to always crack up, once you high, everything cool then at that point. So once you high, you can sit back and talk. She'd be like, yeah, man, I like you better now because you high now. I'd be like, man, I wasn't tripping then, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I believe that weed is a medicine. You know what I'm saying? We can easily look at all the qualities that weed is used for, especially in the medicine world. Like my first report due to I smoked so much weed was on weed. So, I mean, there's no documented history whereas any form of consumption of marijuana has caused any type of ailment to the body, no cancers or anything like that, whether it was, blowing the weed smoke or eating it or anything of that nature. And then just for a person to even was to pass out from it, you would have to smoke or consume so much of it at one point. So they was basically saying that the consumption of marijuana was safe. But, that was yesteryear's consumption of marijuana. Nowadays, they're putting chemicals, they're heightening the level of the THC, the tetrahydrocarbonol that's in it. Back then when I was younger, the strongest strands were, I think, no higher than 15 to 20% THC. Now I think we're looking at like anywhere between 70 to 80+% THC in that thing. So it's definitely increased since the time that the government has got their hands on it, has started manufacturing it for medicinal recreational use. But if you're like, I'm not against anybody that uses marijuana because I know that it has medicinal purposes. Me particularly, I would probably promote more so of the edibles versus the smoking, even though I've done the research back in the day that smoking has no documentation of hurting the lungs. But I mean, with that being said, just scripturally based, in Genesis, it tells you that every plant that's bearing seed is meat for us. So we see that we're well within our means to consume it by eating the marijuana, especially if you need it for medicinal purposes. I agree with Shar Sham on the note that if you're doing it just to escape reality, I think you need to self-examine yourself and really take into consideration what you're doing and, how did you get to this point and try to wean yourself off if the only thing you're thinking about is using marijuana all the time just to give you that feeling, that livelihood, that spark in life. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you use it for a long period of time, nothing is enjoyable until you use it. And then once you use it, then everything is copacetic. But outside of that, when you're not using it, you're down, you're depressed. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking about when you can the next blunt or the next, the new things that they use. I'm so out of sync with it. I can't even tell you the name of it, the pipes that they use. But, it's really dependent upon what's your usage of it. And also the scripture says in Sirach 38, because the queen brought out one in Psalm. It says in Sirach 38 verse 4, the Most High created medicines out of the earth. He that is wise will not abhor them. So this is a medicine. We have for the person, I'm saying, as long as the weed didn't cause the person because of lack of usage, but if you need in order to stabilize your mental state, your mind state, or any other bodily ailments or sicknesses you got, I see nothing wrong with it.
Con, man. I mean, shit, man. That was a hell of a damn topic right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all didn't get any kind of knowledge out of everybody that brought that, this marijuana topic was powerful right here, man. You know what I'm saying? It should give people all encouragement if you is abusing it. It should give you encouragement not to abuse it, but, you know, to use it for the use that is supposed to be done. You know, if you have anxiety, you know, when you have anxiety, if it calms it down, use it. You know, if you need it to build up an appetite to eat, you know, whatever purpose it may be, pain, nauseated, whatever, all type of different topics. But let's move on to the next topic. That was really good stuff. And this next topic is called, can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to the strip clubs? Sakari wink wink. And I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna give my opinion first. I'm gonna pass it to the queen. Queen, can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to strip clubs? And I guess that could be for men or women, I guess, you know. But when the question came about, it was really for the men, because we see certain congregations teach that the men can have sexual relations with prostitutes, and that it's all right to go to strip clubs. We actually seen a couple incidents of congregations going to regular clubs with, you know, bottle girls, you know, that's dressed like strippers or whatever. Can we do that? You know, I guess you can answer that. Can the women do it as well? I mean, can we do it, Queen?
Yeah, that is like you said, we see it in scripture. You know, Judah, you know, he was with a harlot, and
I was just about to bring that up. Go ahead.
Was a harlot who he thought was a harlot, and those children were accepted. So I can't really speak on that. Now, I don't think it's tasteful, because you're not supposed to make whores out of the daughters of Zion. So you going to strip clubs, and you're making those women into whores because they're, you know, they're prostitutes, they're harlots. You know, the quote unquote champagne room and all that stuff. So I don't think that, you know, I don't think that's appropriate, because we're not supposed to make the, you know, whores out of the daughters of Zion. So I don't think it's appropriate. No. Do we have to have strip clubs? No, I don't think we need them. I don't think we need to go. So no, I don't think it's appropriate to have them. I don't think it's appropriate. It's, you know, a lot of these women are going to they're on drugs. They're leaving their children at home. They're subjugating themselves. They hate themselves after a while. They've been in the club for so long, they don't know what else to do. They have no other skills. So, you know, and it's like a domino effect. You know, I have a friend who's I went to school with, and she's a stripper, and you know, and she was abused as a child, and very abused, physically abused. And so, you know, growing up, it was really hard for her. So now she's, you know, she's in there at the strip club, and I get the you know, a lot of these women are treasured, and they're you know, they actually get to be on the spotlight, and people are actually coming to see them. So it's some form of boost for their self-esteem, but at the same rate, you know, they're subjugating themselves, they're putting themselves through a lot, and, you know, they're being treated as trash. So no, I don't like what it's doing to the women. I understand that in the Bible we do see a lot of our, you know, patriarchs entertaining that, but these women, what it does to the women in the long run, it's not good because that also falls on the children, and then that also falls on our nation. So my answer to that.
Brother, good answer. I mean, good answer. Brother Yehuda. You know what I'm saying? Can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to strip clubs?
Hell to the nah. We can't do that, man. I mean, what message is that sending
Which
to our
one?
young sisters? You
Which
know what I'm
one you
saying?
can't do? Which one you can't do?
Hell nah.
Be specific.
Hell
Can you
nah.
not? I mean, which one? Because it's a two-part question. Having
Nah,
a
listen.
sexual relationship with prostitutes or go to the strip club. Which one you saying hell to the no?
Neither one. Neither one. That's my take on it. Neither one, for the simple fact. I mean, Queen of Tally she just gave you a list of all the things that come with most strippers. Most strippers, that's anybody that's in the sex industry, either has most likely been sexually abused at some point in their life. Their self-esteem is low. They have a very large sexual appetite. A lot of them are nymphos. They don't have any control over their sexual desires. It's like an addiction, like drugs, like we just talked about marijuana. So, and you know, that's just covering that aspect of why they even would even think about doing it, not including the money. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say the root of all evil is money. You know what I'm saying? The money, not the evil. But what you gonna do for this money? You know what I'm saying? Shake a little bit for a little bit of change, a little something strange for change and things like that, man. Like a lot of times there's a lot of wickedness that comes in that lifestyle and the way that our sisters and men carry themselves, because it's a two-way street. The sisters wouldn't do it if the men didn't promote it, and the men wouldn't promote it if the sisters didn't do it. So with that being said, I say that we can't entertain that. You know what I'm saying? We can't do those things. The scripture tells you, like she brought out earlier in Leviticus 19:29, do not prostitute thy daughter, cause her to be a whore. Least the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Is we not seeing that the land is filled with whoredom? I mean, you can't even click on social media without seeing half naked or naked women, and now you know certain things else comes up. You might be trying to show your child something, boom, there you go, right there. You know what I'm saying? You can't get around it. So the land has been filled with whoredom, has been filled with wickedness, and a lot of these things is tied into the sexual immorality of society. You know, when we was growing up, advertisements, it's a common thing now. I mean, don't nobody even think about it now, but when we were younger, advertisements, they put a bikini clad chick on the commercial talking about a telephone. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does the bikini clad chick got to do with the damn telephone? You know what I'm saying? Or you go to get this restaurant and it's a half naked chick doing this, or so they were already, you know what I'm saying, making it fair seeming and easing out the imagery into the community, into society, to where we started getting used to seeing that. The next thing you know, the next level that implements something else into that thing. You know what I'm saying? And then something else. So we see that as time has gone on, it has gotten worse, which makes the scripture a true book, because we see that the land has fallen to whoredom. I mean, right now, I mean, nobody's even thinking about being a wife or a husband. It's all about what you're going to do for me right now, sexually. You know what I'm saying? Not even including anything else. You know, everything that was taboo when I was growing up is not taboo today for these youngsters. You know what I'm saying? Oral sex back then, even though we know oral sex was happening, you cannot say that you was a person that was giving the oral sex outright in the open, because even though most brothers probably would have wanted it, you would have been talked about like a dog. Now, that's not the case. Now, your whole credibility, your resume, and everything else is based off of what can you do? What can you do? You heard what 2 Chainz say, if she ain't swallowing, she basic. You know what I'm saying? So this is the mindset that's out here. So when you go into the strip clubs, and even if you're not doing it, right, that's the key to it. Even if you're not doing it, because I know the whole notion was the fact of, you know, Christ hung out amongst the the thieves and the murderers, the drunkards, the sex workers and all of those
Yeah,
things.
that was Sakari say. Sakari say, you know what I'm saying, that your house side be in the clubs right now, in the strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? Throwing that money up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all said
Right.
that shit. Blame me.
Right. So, I mean, and that might be the case, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, what level of works was he doing versus your level of works? I mean, people say that, but are they showing them in those areas actually administering the word, during that time? Or are we seeing them actually enjoying the worldly music, the atmosphere and things of that nature? I'm not saying a man and a woman can't enjoy themselves as within means, but when people that are searching out the Most High, they're searching for truth, they're searching for justice, a light and an enlightened path, and they see these things that could be a stumbling block. So when you read like 1 Thessalonians 5:22, it says, abstain from all appearance of evil. So we know, like, anybody that's been in the world and anybody that's partaking in that, like the sister says, she has a friend that was a dancer and she got an inside look on that lifestyle and what comes with it. So anybody that actually been in that lifestyle in that world, if you intermingle, all the things that come with it: drugs, sex, recklessness, no accountability, the valuing of women, the list goes on. Kids are being born out of a lot of these situations with a broken household because now the child, you're a sex worker, you're a hoe. That ain't my child. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing that come out of Brother Mouth. Man, that ain't my child. It could be his child look just like him. You know what I'm saying? He got tattoos on his face, baby born with the same tattoos on his face. He's gonna be like, nah, that ain't my child. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, it's a lot of things that come with those things. And I mean, if you're into that lifestyle, right? This is just my opinion on that. If you into this lifestyle and you like just the glitz and glamour and the women on the pole and stuff, get a pole for your bedroom and let your wife learn how to work the pole and do the pole in the privacy of your own home. You know what I'm saying? Some of these brothers got 2 wives. You know what I'm saying? Monday is wife number 1, Tuesday is wife number 2. You're on the pole stripping, but it's for your own personal pleasure. So that way it's not leading or steering anybody wrong as far as that lifestyle that you partaking in or you're enjoying.
Come, man. And before I pass it to the brother Sharcel, I'm gonna get my 2 cents in on it. You made some good points, and the Queen made good points. As far as I would say, as far as the prostitution and the strip clubs, I would say we shouldn't participate in that. Now, but would I say that they are wrong according to the scriptures? When I just look back in history, all the forefathers of every nation had entertainment from women. Whether it was belly dancing, it was dancing and hanging from those long silk curtains. You know how they be twirling all the way down to the ground. You know how the East Indians and all kind of shit like that. Like they always had women entertainment, but it was more on a classier level. They wasn't dancing to pop their pussy inside some kind of,
Right.
shotgun goddamn strip club. It was something elegant, but it was still sexual and sensual. And
Hey, I got a question, if you don't mind, before Sharcel. I would like for him, if he has the information on that, something that Sister Natalie has said, which was, I've been thinking about this for a long time, is when the situation with Tamar and Judah happened, and she dressed herself up as a harlot, and
it's
they
right
laid
here.
it down, and he gave her.
It's Genesis.
Huh?
It's Genesis 38. I was just going to bring it out. It's right here.
Right.
See on the screen. Genesis 38.
Okay.
It's Genesis 38.
So I guess my question before you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I got it. So basically, when you start from 18 all the way down, it's basically, saying Judah. He seen this woman that he thought was a harlot because she had her face covered and all that stuff like that. She was, kind of dressed up like a little harlot or whatever at the time, or what they perceived a harlot to be. But so when he approached her, I'm saying, I mean, he offered her. She said, hey, look here, give me your rings. I'm saying, I want your bracelets. I want your staff. You know what I'm saying? He said, hey, I do even better, baby. I'll give you a young goat too. How about that? Bad. So, so he paid a young goat, some bracelets, some rings, and a staff. You know, and got the booty. And you see other occasions, occasions in the Bible where these sorts of things happen. And this is why I think like congregations like GMS and other congregations say, you know, they go at that thing. You know, my whole thing is, man, you shouldn't have to pay for, you know, sexual relations. You're giving, and you know, and when I give it too graphic, you know, y'all are tuning into the Scoring Black Man podcast series. You know, I would think the man is, I mean, shit, hell, I don't see our eyes rolling in the back of our heads and we grabbing the sheets and goddamn it screaming to the top of our lungs and making all kind of goddamn crazy faces. Maybe when we goddamn having an orgasm, son. But you know, I don't think we should be paying for sex. And I think when you buy prostitutes and you go to strip clubs and just throwing away all that money that you could be, you know, put your kids through college and buy things for the household, and even buy a nice, you know, wife, a queen that you may have. I don't think you want to be giving away that money. Now, whether or not it's unlawful according to the scriptures, that's hard to. It'll be hard to prove that it's unlawful because we see situations, and it says right here, you know, and he accepted, you know, the Most High is that Judah acknowledged them and said, "She has become more righteous than I." Yeah, because
right. Which was my question. This is why I wanted him to expound on it.
Right, because I gave her not to Salah. Yeah, it survived. Salah Salom, my son. And he knew not her again no more. So, you know, I'm going to pass you to Brother Sham, because the Brother Don Yehuda wants you to expound on that. Brother Sham, the topic right now is, can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to strip clubs or even deal with strippers or bottle girls and of that sort? Sakari, wait.
Hey, Sham, and when you answer that, brother, I'm curious for you and the Queen to if you are able to expound on why was there no judgment for dealing with an harlot?
He might be busy right now. Let's pass it to the Queen.
Well, let me propose it to the Queen then.
She already started. She already started. Shasham, Dale, you well, he probably busy. So this is what we're gonna do. When he come back, we're gonna let him answer that question, but we're gonna move on to the last topic. And the last topic is Will MAMZER Part 2. This is Part 2. So what is a MAMZER? We did Part 1, and hell, that might have been Part 2. This might be Part 3. But we covered it last episode in Part 5. What is a MAMZER according to the scriptures? Because like last time I brought out, when I researched, it shows a Israelite woman, a child of an Israelite woman and a Gentile man, and it also says a bastard, and a bastard incest child. But I've seen other brothers show proof that it means that an Israelite man with a Gentile woman. What is a MAMZER according to the Holy Scriptures, Queen Nefertari?
Sorry, I'm trying to push the mute button. So you said what is a MAMZER?
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, Sharsham's back. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I was talking the whole time. I don't know what was going on with my mic. I kept asking, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
No, we couldn't hear you. We can hear you now, though.
Okay. So what that I was being asked to expound on? I like totally lost now because I had to jump off and jump back in.
Okay, the topic is, can we have sexual relations? Can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to strip clubs? You know, and we mean strip clubs. It could be a regular club with bottle girls that have naked. You know, Sakari say, you know, hell, your house out right here. Hell, he gonna be in the club, popping bottles, you know, slapping ass and throwing dollars around. Shit, you know, he amongst the sinners. What do you have to say? Can we have sexual relations with prostitutes and go to strip clubs? And Brother Dunya Huda wants you to expound on Judah having sex with the harlot,
Tamar.
what he thought was a harlot in Genesis 38 chapter. He wants you to expound on that as well.
Okay. Well, me growing up into the strip club scene, I had a friend that worked at the strip club. I told the story before. When I made a video, we spoke about against Sakari for going to the strip club, because I know how it works. You know, how brothers give the women drugs, and brothers were selling the dancers drugs, giving them cocaine, heroin, whatever they wanted to get high so they can have sex with them. So I know a lot about that, the whole strip club life and the way it works. I disagree that we should not be into them places, because I know what goes on in there, and it's nothing good about it. And Yahushua wouldn't be in a place like that. If he was, he'll be turning over the table, rebuking them, because that would be a place of what they would call like the what it says, thou shalt not be or the daughter of Israel, nor a sodomite, well, which would be a kodash in the Hebrew, or kodasha. Like, these people do anything to make money, so even go against their own standards, especially when they high off drugs, and people offer them thousands of dollars that they don't got. So no, we shouldn't go to strip clubs. And them dudes there, they only in there partying, looking at women and lusting. You know, a lot of them girls in there too be married to other men. So you already breaking the rules of adultery. The law is right there. You committing a spiritual adultery. So I wouldn't prefer nobody to go into a strip club, especially Israelites too, that's weak and weak in the flesh and weak minded. You know, we got a lot of that in the community. Because if that wasn't the case, these dudes wouldn't be sleeping with other guys' wives in their own camp. You know, we got a lot of filth in our community, and I feel like dudes that's supposed to be leaders, they shouldn't be taking guys to places like that, especially when they knowing that they weak, and that's not a good example of leadership. And we shouldn't deal with no prostitute. I don't think nobody should. I know our forefathers did things, but I just think that's crazy. These women could be carrying any kind of diseases. They sleeping with anybody, any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So you don't know if they cleaning themselves, or they on drugs, or they could be carrying HIV, or they could have gonorrhea, chlamydia, or any type of thing. And then you got some dudes out here who got this thing called they got a raw habit where they don't want to use a condom. They don't even want to protect themselves. They just want to get their rocks off. You know, the scriptures speak about a guy laying with anybody and just getting your rocks off with anybody. You know, it's purification. So no, I wouldn't agree with nobody sleeping with prostitutes. Sakari call it a business transaction. I'll call it fornication, because that's what it is. Ain't got nothing to do with no business. That's how I feel on that. And what was the thing about Judah and Tamar? Y'all really want me to answer on that part?
Yeah, I was just asking because that was brought up. Queen Natali brought up the that instance, and we know in scripture, at least from what we could see, that there was no judgment rendered as far as him dealing with a perceived harlot, which we know to be Tamar later.
Okay.
I just wanted to know, did you have some insight on that?
Well, the only question I could think of is, like I said, we know it's a lot of things that's missing in the scriptures and in the books. So even though we might not see it in the Torah, but you know, Judah got a lot of judgment in his life period, from his sons being killed, from him marrying a Canaanite. His son became a linen worker. So, you know, Judah wasn't our forefather wasn't a perfect guy himself, you know. And I'm gonna just deal with the laws of Torah. The Torah is telling us that, you know, we shouldn't make no whores or anything like that. So that clearly tells us that we shouldn't be laying with prostitutes if we ain't supposed to make somebody a whore. Why didn't we see any judgment in the Torah? I don't know. I feel something should have been in there for Al learning dealing with that situation. I just think because you know, certain things been taken out in the line pens of the scribes that brothers will use anything to justify, you know, their wicked deeds and what they want to do, you know, and to fulfill their lustful desires. So with me, I use wisdom and discernment. And that's how I look at that situation. But he should have had some type of judgment. And the part when he was saying that, you know, she was being more righteous than him because she was really waiting because Judah didn't do what he was supposed to do. He didn't fulfill his end of the bargain of getting her a husband. So because of that, she went and played the harlot. So that was kind of his fault on that end. You know, he didn't fulfill the duties of being a father-in-law. With that, I'll pass the mic.
Okay. Last topic. I know Shawshan will love this one. And Sister Weezy, she got it already on the topic. What is a MAMZER part 2? Or this could be part 3. I can't remember which one I can say which one it is. Part 2 or part 3. What is a MAMZER? Because the only people I've ever heard really use that word is my FOPE family and Seed of Israel, who I know K. Judah got on their ass about a couple weeks ago. And it's always referred to when it's always referred to Gorilla Hebrew and Hassad from Shikari. And anybody like them. So is a MAMZER somebody with a white mama or, you know, a white mama, or is a MAMZER like anybody with a Gentile mother? Because we see King David now, we see a lot of forefathers had Gentile mothers, and they weren't called MAMZERs. They were like kings, and you know they had high positions. So, what exactly we need in deep detail? What is a MAMZER according to the Bible? And I want to start off with the good Queen Naphtali. What is a MAMZER according to the scriptures?
Okay, yeah. So I believe to be a MAMZER is you know, is someone of a child mixed with a heathen mother. So I believe that is a MAMZER. Now,
Is a heathen, I'm going to cut you off. So is a heathen and a Gentile the same thing, or they different? Because Sister Weezer asked that question earlier. Is a Gentile and a heathen the same thing, or they different? That was a question Sister Weezer asked.
I see people doing that. Like they would say Japheth is a Gentile. Like people, you know, say Japheth is a Gentile. But all nations are are essentially Gentiles, and our nations are essentially heathens. So all nations that are not the children of, or maybe even Shemitic. But then you get to these Shemitic people with these other tribes, like Moab and, you know, Ammon. So yeah, I do. I believe if you're not of Israel, then yeah, they are heathen. So yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, that's what I do agree with the fact that if you're not the children of Israel, then you the 12 tribes, then you are a heathen nation, and the
Okay.
Gentiles are the same.
Okay, but so what is a MAMZER?
Well, yeah, a MAMZER is, you know, the offspring of those what they create. You know, you got to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. So the law states that, well, you know, within that it says that for us to not marry, you know, these other people, to keep the blood pure, keep the bloodline pure. And as a result, you have MAMZERs, and some people say it's bastards. I've seen where it said it was their bastards, and depending on that, is a bastard someone who's married out of wedlock? that's something too. But I do believe that they're mamzers if they are of of another nation. I agree with that.
Okay, I mean, does it matter if it's the father being a Gentile and the mother being an Israelite, or the mother being a Gentile and the father being an Israelite?
No, I don't think it matters. I don't agree with the "you are what your father is" doctrine. I don't agree with that, and I don't think it's any. Now, like I said, it does when we do see when it's with these other nations, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians. I do believe it's because those are more pure. Like I'll have to get into it. I'll have to get into the pure human, as we see with the genetics. I think everything goes back to genetics. I think everything goes back to bloodline. He wants the bloodline to remain pure. We do see there was a group of people whose bloodline got contaminated. And I believe that is the cause of the flood. I believe the main cause of the flood was because majority of the people who were on the earth at that time, their DNA was contaminated, except the 8 people that were allowed to come back and repopulate the earth. So he wants to keep our bloodline pure, and you mixing with these other nations who are mixing with, I don't know what you want to classify it as. I don't know, these other these species that are around, then that when you start to intermix with these people, then no, those children are no longer Israel, they're mamzers. I do believe that.
Okay. Brother Don Yehuda, I'm gonna pass it you next. I know Brother Don Yehuda, like, so using on this topic right here, he be like, man, I'm about to pass, man. Brother Don Yehuda, I know you done did some research. According to your knowledge so far, not what you perceive is, absolutely correct, because, but according to your research so far, Brother Don Yehuda, what is a mamzer?
I mean, just looking into the concordance, is a Israelite father with a Gentile woman, having a child with a Gentile woman or a woman of another nation. So that's, just going off of that, off of what I've read so far, that would be my understanding of a mamzer. And a lot of those things is due in part to, like Queen of Tally mentioned earlier, which was in Deuteronomy. It says in Deuteronomy 7:4, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So a lot of times we see that we were going off doing part because, for one, we was mixing with the other nations, and then who's the one that's raising up the children within these households? It's usually, if not always, the mother. So if the mother is raising up your child, you know what I'm saying, and she's teaching your child what she knows, and she's of another nation, you know what I'm saying, then that leads to the whole problem of now your child has become alienated, you know what I'm saying, from the faith or from the congregation, because they're being taught the heathen ways. They're worshiping deities. They're believing in certain customs and certain ideologies. You know what I'm saying? When you go to like Titus 2 and verse 4, it says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. So keepers at home, that goes into, on top of loving your children and to be a keeper at home, that encompasses all of that. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that they're taken care of, making sure they're educated, making sure they're being raised up in the knowledge and truth that was given to the forefathers and foremothers of that child's people. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like she brought out earlier in Nehemiah, I believe it was, or Ezra, when they got rid of those children, is because they knew the language and the ways of the mothers and not of the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So now you have a nation within a nation. You know what I'm saying? They're not following our rules and regulations. They're following the rules and regulations that we're not even supposed to be a part of, that we're not even supposed to be attaining to, envying, or anything of that sort. So a lot of problems that we've seen within the nation of Israel was due to intermingling, because he also tells you that they would be a thorn in our side. You know, as long as we intermingle with these people, they were going to be a thorn in our side because we didn't listen to wise counsel. It says that in Joshua chapter 23, starting at verse 12. If ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, know for a certainty that the Most High will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from off of this good land which the Most High have given you. So we see that's what the problem is. Our people will be turned away. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing greater than a parent's love for their child. So if your child is off, they're not hearkening unto the law, statute, commandments. They don't believe in, you know, Yahuwah or Yah of Israel. They don't believe in the high holy days. You know what I'm saying? They eating abominable things. That's going to cause a problem. That's going to cause a rift within the household. So this is why it's pertinent to, you know, not intermingle or put your seed in a nation that's not yours, because your customs, your culture, your inheritance, your ideologies, your beliefs, everything is different. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was so beneficial for Esther, because she denounced all that and wanted to come into our ways of learning and live our life and become one of us. So, you know, these things we have to really kind of look into. So a MAMZER, man, is, you know, really, from what I could see, is an Israelite man and a other nation woman, and she's going to most likely teach that child her ways, her customs, and her ways of life. I pass the mic.
Okay.
Answer that question.
Go ahead, Queen. Go ahead, Queen.
Because I saw you had put she had said, what did she say? She said, so how did 8 people repopulate the earth to this day? Yeah, so I believe that at the beginning, you know, there was Noah, there was Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So it was a lot of intermixing with within their tribes. So yeah, a lot of sons were marrying their sisters. So yeah, but then we know that once the population started to get established, that's when he outlawed the outlawed having you know, being with your sister, being with your brother and stuff like that. That became outlawed, book of Leviticus. So yeah, they were marrying with each other, you know, sister brothers were marrying each other. So that's how I was able to repopulate. That's all I wanted to say.
Brother Sharsham, what is a MAMZER part 2, 3? I think it's part 2 or 3. What is a MAMZER? I mean, to the core definition, you know, is it a you know, a product of a white woman or Caucasian woman with a Hebrew man, or is it any nation with a Hebrew man? I mean, like, what is a MAMZER, like, to the T?
Well, to me, and this is just my opinion, right? But we dealing with Israelite law, and that's what it says in Strong's. I agree to that somewhat, where it says a Gentile father and heathen mother, but I believe it go both ways. But my whole full definition of a MAMZER to me is a person of mixed blood of any nation. Whether a white guy got with a Chinese woman, they have a baby, I believe that child would be considered a MAMZER because it's mixed. You can't give it a straight nationality. It's not pure. You saying? So that's what I believe. It don't matter what nation you are. It's the mixing is the issue, because the Lord don't want us mixing. So I think he considered anybody that's mixed, or like when you go in the scriptures, it says mingled people or the mixed people. That's what a MAMZER is. It says mingled or mixed. Anybody that's mingled or mixed is considered a MAMZER, whether it's from a woman with a Gentile or a man with a Gentile. That's my belief. So not just Gorilla Hebrew, but a lot of people who got all this mixed blood in them that's not pure, because the Most High wants us to be pure. Now, Israel became a pure nation when he gave them the laws. That's when he considered them pure. But they started mixing again, and that's when they became unpure. So that's my beliefs on what is a MAMZER. It's people of hybrid, mixed blood, or mixing themselves with anyone that's not of Israelite stock.
And it don't matter if it's the a Gentile man with an Israelite woman, Gentile woman with an Israelite man. It don't matter either or.
Either or it could be a Gentiles mixing with other Gentiles that's not even of their nation, and they just making children. They be considered MAMZERs too, because they all mixed up and mingled people.
All right, so I'm asking
you say a
question.
Mongol race.
So why do people only, like, when I see people say MAMZER, they always refer to like Gorilla Hebrew and Hassad and anybody that look like them. like anybody that look like, basically anybody with like a white mother or like some kind of white Hispanic mother, or why they seem like they the only ones that are called MAMZER? Because like we see like King, like I said, King David and a bunch of other forefathers, they had Gentile mothers, and they were considered Israelites. We don't see them being called MAMZERs, and they held high positions, kings and all kind of stuff. So that's why I'm confused about. Go ahead.
No, you said King David had a Gentile mother. I'm trying to figure out who. I've never seen that before. Who is his Gentile mother?
So King, all right. So who is King David's mother?
That's what I'm asking you. Like you said he had a Gentile mother. I'm trying to figure out who was his mother that was a Gentile. Like I never heard of
his grandmother.
Oh yeah, well his grandmother. No, my bad.
You talking about Ruth?
Who?
Was it Ruth? Yeah, it was Ruth.
Oh yeah, Ruth wasn't a Moabite. She wasn't a Moabite.
Right. Okay. Moabite. Right. Well, I mean,
but she was not a Moabite. She was not a Moabite.
So that's a good topic for probably the next one. Was she a Moabite or Israelite? That's a good topic. But yeah, so I mean, but I've seen, and maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I need to go back. But I think I've seen kind of incidents of, even Ishmael. I mean, would Ishmael be a MAMZER?
No, because Ishmael was of his own nation. There's a difference. You see what I'm saying? Ishmael, he's a Hebrew Ishmaelite. He's not a Hebrew Israelite.
Right,
so he can't like Esau is a Hebrew Edomite. He's not a Hebrew Israelite. So he of his own nation. So that's what I'm saying. When people look at the whole MAMZER thing, and I'm just like I said, we dealing off of Israelite laws for our people. But the way the Most High showed me, a MAMZER is a mixed or mingled person, period. It don't matter if they was with the mother or the father, and it's of any nation, mixed people, period, because they all would be considered mingled. That's why, like I say, you go into the scripture, it talks about, it says the mingled people, and all the mingled people was together. So that's what you would call them, because what is their nationality? They all mingled. That's what they are. They are MAMZERs, mingled people. That's what Gorilla Hebrew is. That's what Hazard is. They mingled people.
God.
You read about the mingled people in the scriptures.
I actually, listen to that. I actually agree with you, Sharsham, on that. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. All nations, definitely. That should apply to all nations. So I definitely agree with Sharsham on that too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because I was always wondering, because the only time I would see people that would be called MAMZERs would always be like people that look like Gorilla Hebrew side. They like when you say MAMZER, they the first two people that pop up in your head, because people are always calling them MAMZERs or whatever.
Truthfully, it really doesn't have nothing to do with looks all the way.
Okay.
It has something to do with your people mixing the seed, period. That's what it's about. It's polluting oneself or defiling the seed line. So you can defile the seed line and have somebody come out looking like a Negro, but that don't mean they're Israelite because they look like a Negro. They still a defiled seed line. That's a mingled person.
Right. Con. Well said. Like Sister Weezer said. So that's the end of the topics. It's a wrap, part 6 of controversial and deep conversations with Hebrew Israelites and different teachers and different doctrines and different backgrounds. And I'm gonna let the brother Don Yehuda give out the announcements for the next following shows. Brother Don Yehuda.
Yeah, so this upcoming Wednesday, we're gonna have the brother Malachi Maccabee on there with the topic titled "The Apostle Paul Writings on Trial." That's gonna be a fire topic, a fire podcast conversation. So make sure you definitely tune in. That's this upcoming Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Also, look out for our regularly scheduled programs of the Scorned Black Man podcast. Typically, it comes on Saturdays, but we kind of interchanging things around. So, with that being said, look out for that. Also, what else do we have lined up? Let me look real quick. Also, episode 24, why are African Americans so overweight and out of shape and refuse to fix it? That's coming up on the 16th also. So look out for that. So we got a few things down the road. We got a few things in line. And I mean, you know, the invitation is to the brother Shar Sam and Queen Naphtali. If y'all have anything, you're more than welcome to come on the show. Let us know. We'll open the platform up so you can come on and bring out any pertinent information you have. I know Queen Naphtali, you have a lot of things that very informative that could be considered controversial amongst the Israelite communities and for people that's learned, you know, whether they're scholarly and outside of the Israelite community as well. So we would be more than honored to have you on again to come down and bust it down for us with that information and enlighten the people. Brother Shar Sham, likewise, you always got the gems and jewels. The platform is more than open for you to come on and drop that knowledge for us. And we open the platform to any brother or sister out there that comes on. If you're in the comment, you have a question, or if you want to chime in, it's an open forum. Feel more than free to get on and chop it up with us, because we're your brothers and sisters. We're not here to ridicule you. We're not here to down talk you. We're here to build. We're here to share information. We're here to uplift the community.
Exactly. And I would love for the Queen to come on here and give a breakdown on who are the Caucasians according to the Bible. If she probably didn't watch, or she may have seen the brother Israel do one on that same topic, and he has the same, I think, school of thought as her, as the white people being the Canaanites. And I think she has a lot of controversial topics, and we're gonna get with you in the background, sister, and see what kind of controversial topic we would love for you to bring out. But I know personally, I would love to hear a breakdown on who is the white people, who are Caucasians according to the scriptures, because I believe it's gonna be the same as the one that Brother Israel did on here, the Canaanites. And I'm gonna let y'all get y'all final thoughts. Sister Queen, now tell her your final thoughts.
I'm sorry, what was that you had just said?
I was saying about we would love to get you on to do a controversial and deep biblical breakdown on a couple of different topics that you may have. But me personally, I like the topic that you brought out about who are the Caucasians, aka the white people according to the scriptures. I believe your train of thought is the Canaanites, right?
Okay, yes. I would love to. And so I just want to say this. Thank you so much for having me on. My name is Naphtali. My channel is Naphtali80UIC. I have a lot of videos where you can go onto that channel, and I break down the Canaanites thoroughly. But I will be live tomorrow, and so my channel is based off of biblical and historical accounts. I like to mix the Bible with history. And also, I like to speak on things that a lot of people feel is very controversial. I talk about giants. I talk about the Nephilim. I talk about all those different things, as well as it is not believed, but it is documented that the Caucasians are Canaanites. Now, are all of them Canaanites? Yeah. but there probably are remnants of them that are not. Okay, so I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, for the bulk of them, though, they are Canaanites. And I do invite you guys to please at least check it out, hear me out. I bring a lot of stuff to the table. It's not just hearsay. It's not based off of my feelings. It's not based off of opinion. It's actually based off of historical records, historical information. Like I said, I brought up the fact that cannabis actually comes from Canaanites. There's a lot of stuff out there, and proving who they are, believe it or not, actually proves who we are. I like to bring up Deuteronomy. It says that in Deuteronomy, you shall be the head, and you should be the head, and they should be the tail, if you are blessed. So if we look at the blessing of Deuteronomy, it says that we will be the head. And if we're the head, then who is the tail? The tail will be the Canaanites, because the Canaanites are to serve the children of Israel as well as the other nations. But when we are cursed, it comes back and it says, you should be the tail and they should be the head. So it actually flip-flops. And that's actual scripture. And that's like, okay, so once you flip-flop that, when you're the tail, who is indeed the head? So then I say, and I'm not going to be long-winded, we've been on here long enough, but I'm just going to say this. Once we look at it that way, and then you see that, okay, well, if we are indeed the tail right now, the Canaanites should have ruled over Israel at one point in time. And we do see that the Canaanites actually did rule over Israel. They ruled over us. King Jabin was a Canaanite king. And also that was with Deborah and Barak. They had to help the children of Israel. So yes, my channel is Naphtali's ADUIC. And the ADUIC stands for African Diaspora United in Christ. I do take the stance that we are, our people are African. Now, are some Africans Hamites? Yes, but there are Africans that are indeed Shemites. Okay, so that's something that we have to talk about, because a lot of these camps have put a very bad disdain on Ham, and also labeling the land of Africa as the land of Ham. And Shem is also located in Africa, because that's where the land of Israel is in Africa. Okay, we could talk about that too. So yeah, I can definitely come on and I can do a presentation, and I can break all that down. And you guys can ask me all the tough, hard questions, have them prepared, because the worst thing that you can do to me, if you want to offend me, is by not asking me. That's how you offend me. You don't offend me by saying, oh, I don't want to hurt the sis feelings, or I don't want to make sis feel uncomfortable. No, put me in the hot seat and put me in my place, because if you think you can, because that actually makes me better. That actually makes me look into my information and make sure that it's challenged, because if my information is not challenged, how do I know it's 100% correct? So I'm humble to anyone that wants to come on and dialogue with me about it. If you disagree with me, let me know, and I can provide you, we can take time and we can talk about it. You know, I've had people come and talk to me about how they disagree with me, and then once they talk to me on the phone, things kind of change. So, you know, you just have to give me a chance to explain, because I can't explain years and years of information in a 5 or 10 minute conversation. I can't even explain it in an hour. It's so much that goes into it. But yeah, I would love to come on and let me know, so I can have things prepared for you and your audience.
Khan, thank you very much, sis, and we look forward to that too.
Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow at 3:15 p.m. Central Time. So that'll be 4:15 you guys' time tomorrow. And I'll be speaking on the giants, Nephilim. I speak on the Anunnaki. I speak on all that. You know, I'm into I'm speaking on the Atlanteans, the Atlantis, all that. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I definitely want you to do a show on that. I definitely want you to do a show on the because you subscribe to Enoch, Jasher, and Jubilees, right?
Yes,
in the
I
book
do.
of John. Yeah, so I definitely want you to do a show on that as well. So, you know,
Me too,
I got
sis.
2
Me
shows
too.
I want you to do. Me personally, I got 2 personal favorite shows.
Yeah,
And one
yeah,
is going to be
yeah. Don
Con.
Judah been with me for a while. He's been with me since my Israelite conversation days. So, and
Yes.
you know that I before I turned into ADUIC, we really used to go in, but we had to clean a lot of that stuff up because, and actually, congratulations to us, but we actually just got monetized again. So, I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's
Congrats.
been a long time coming.
Congratulations.
We actually was accepted. So I'm definitely not going to go in as much as we used to, but I will. It will, and I want to make sure that people understand that when I say that these people are Canaanites, we all have to be retaught about who the Canaanites are. A lot of people put a lot of bad emphasis on them. They have a lot of bad in them. They did a lot of wrong, but we do know that they can be saved. So I know a lot of people get upset with me and they want to fight me because I talk about these people. And it actually, people get very offended. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, why don't you get offended when they call the African a Canaanite? I don't see people upset about that. But when you want to call these other people, and we have to think about why is that? Why do you have a feeling in your chest that of remorse or some form of empathy for me calling them that when it's historical and we also have DNA, and all this information to prove them. People come back to me and still go like, I don't believe, or attitude or get mad at me, and I'm like, why are you upset? That's just what their lineage goes back to, and people pull out, oh, well, they're wicked and they're doing all of this and CERN and all this stuff, and it's like, well, we worship other gods, the Christianity, all of those gods go back to Asherah and Baal. Okay, so I mean, it's not, and those are the 2 gods that are mentioned in the Bible. So I'm not gonna, keep going on, but I'm just saying, we all have to rethink why we have sentiment in our feelings, or you feel offended by what I say. Like, it's controversial. It's like, why is it controversial? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why is that controversial? Like, I have to ask these questions because it's like, it's not controversial when it's Black people. So I just, that's just how I feel about it. Because a lot of these people, white people will tell you that they're descendants of them. They'll tell you openly. I get comments from them all the time. So yeah.
When the brother Israel did his presentation on here on the controversial and deep controversial and deep biblical breakdown series on this channel, he did, it was titled who are Caucasians according to the Bible, Edomites and Canaanites. And you look at the comments, and white people was like, man, thank you for this breakdown. So they like to learn, they like to learn who they is, because they know who the original Hebrew Israelites are, and so they want to learn from the original people. Brother Sharchan, your final thoughts?
Yeah, shalom, grace and peace. Most High bless everybody. Man, I want to say I love this show, this podcast, man. It's a small platform, small podcast, but it feels so big, especially when the conversation is happening, with us, and the knowledge that's being brought out here. This thing need to, more people need to be over here to listen when this show be on, man, because there's a lot of good information coming out over here, and this channel need more credit and more viewership. They need more credit and more viewership. But they might be shadow banned you soon. Like with these shows, you keep it up like this. I'm telling you. But yeah, man. I appreciate y'all brothers letting me on, man. I'm gonna try to make it Wednesday if I can. If I don't have nothing to do, I'll hop on the show. I'll make sure I'll be here.
Con, man. YouTube, man. YouTube, man. They do all kind of stuff, man, to the melanated channels, man. I be like, man, I be knowing that it be getting more. Like when the show ends, I know they be getting more views. I know it's out there. You know what I'm saying? But they make sure, that they watch, and they're gonna censor what gets out there and what's not get out there. But views. I mean, views don't matter. All that matter, it reached the right amount of people that it's supposed to reach. If you, if you get 500 viewers watching at one time, but only 5 got the message, but then you got 50 folks watching at one time and 10 got the message, hey, it's all good. But I like to thank all y'all brothers and sisters, man, all the brothers and sisters in the chat, even the my Owaspy family of Hebrews. They go by the Owaspy Bible, you know what I'm saying? It has a lot of good knowledge in there, you know what I'm saying? And I just love brothers and sisters that's not afraid to sit down and have conversations, controversial and deep conversations with other Hebrew Israelites of different teachers, different backgrounds. I thank everybody once again. Enjoy your Sabbath. Love y'all, brothers and sisters, and stay tuned to our future shows. Shalom.